down 102 points at the closing bell, but the NASDAQ turning higher after a down day overall, and the Dow had been lower during the session. Fox News, fair and balanced.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in the settlement process.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
President Trump wasn't kidding when he talked about creating a space force. Fox's Evan Brown has this live.
And Lisa, President Trump today during remarks at the White House revealed he's ordered the Defense Department to create a new branch of the United States military, one that would operate off of planet Earth.
We are going to have the Air Force and we are going to have the Space Force.
Though the White House has yet to reveal exactly what a militarized Space Force would do, but the president is also setting an aggressive timetable for a return to the moon and eventual Mars mission, Lisa.
Thanks, Evan. Late reports of shots fired on the street in one of Sweden's largest cities, Malmö. It happened just after 8 o'clock at night their time and not far from a police station. So officers were on the scene right away. The initial reports are saying at least 5 men injured. No word on suspects. The Pentagon is denying a Syrian state TV report that the U.S.-led coalition bombed Shiite militants near the Iraqi border today.
A U.S. spokesman saying via Twitter their mission remains to defeat ISIS. However, multiple officials telling Fox News the strikes on the Iranian-linked forces were carried out by Israeli jets. In recent months, Israel has become increasingly concerned about Iran's growing presence in Syria and has launched airstrikes on Shiite and Iranian fighters there.
Fox's Connor Powell in Jerusalem. Just 2 weeks after winning their first ever Stanley Cup, the Washington Capitals need a new head coach. The team just announcing that Barry Trotz has resigned, thanking him for his 4-year run, which included trips to the playoffs every year. But last summer, they opted not to give Trotz a contract extension. No word yet on future plans for Trotz, who's 55. In New York, Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chili's Rib Fest is back. You can get saucy with their fall-off-the-bone, slow-smoked half-rack of ribs for $10.99. Available in original, roasted garlic, or honey chipotle flavors. Served with home-style fries. Add an additional half-rack of ribs for just $7. Low and slow is the key to more flavor. Chili's Rib Fest for $10.99. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
The island's fastest growing newspaper is giving you more.
More local news.
More local sports.
More local features.
And more ways to access the news you want to read.
Home delivery.
Digital subscriptions online on postguam.com.
On social media and now on a mobile app. It's your news, your way.
Download the Guam Daily Post app for Android and iOS today. As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Dr. Samuel Friedman adding his name to a growing list of physicians critical of the management of Guam Memorial Hospital last night, saying GMH was dysfunctional on all levels and it's being run by a small group of physicians in regressive and out-of-date ways. Friedman testified during an oversight hearing on GMH called by Health Committee Chair and gubernatorial candidate Senator Dennis Rodriguez. The highly anticipated hearing came after a week of revelations and accusations, starting with last week's testimony from Dr. Jerome Landstrom and Dr. Kozui Shimabukuro, followed by news of a report from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services citing numerous serious deficiencies that threaten the hospital's Medicaid funding. Dr. Shimabukuro testified again last night saying it's still the truth that GMH needs funding. Former GMH board member Val Perez echoing the need, saying if there is a fix for GMH, it's going to require a lot of work and a substantial investment, he said. Meanwhile, GMH Administrator Peter John Camacho and CFO Benita Manglonia didn't have a chance to respond until well after 8 o'clock last night. Committee Chairman Rodriguez asking Camacho whether he'd provide a copy of the critical CMS report to the GMH board last week. But Camacho said he had not given them a copy because he was trying to meet the deadline for submission of the corrective action report on Friday of last week. Rodriguez called that very troublesome. Manglonia, meanwhile, testifying that she got a call from their oxygen supplier yesterday saying if the hospital didn't pay them $100,000 by today, they're going to stop oxygen deliveries. And the Guam Power Authority, she said, was threatening to turn off the power to the hospital. I agree there's a leadership issue, said Manglonia, and that's shared with this body, she told the lawmakers. GMH has been underfunded for over 40 years, she said. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
The employees of Morrico Equipment on Guam have something very special all to themselves every morning they go to work, and that is pride. They have pride in the Morrico Equipment logo, and they have pride in wearing the Morrico Equipment uniform. They have pride in driving each Morrico Equipment service truck and in operating the Morrico Equipment lowboy heavy haul tractor. Morrico Equipment employees have pride in their company because they own the company. Morrico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. If you would like to join the Morrico Equipment ESOP team, please apply via morricoequipment.com.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Guam police have announced that the death of 15-year-old Timika Jadine Nauta last weekend has been ruled a homicide now. The girl was found dead in her bedroom on Saturday morning at her home along Chalancota and Dedido. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola performed an autopsy on the girl yesterday, but he declined to discuss the results at the direction of the Guam Attorney General and Guam Police, who asked him to say nothing about it to the media. Police spent the weekend searching for clues and conducting interviews in the neighborhood. Family members said there was a break-in across the street the same morning, and they're trying to determine if it was related to Nauta's homicide. Anyone with information about the crime is asked to call Guam Police or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is asking Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood to extend the receivership over Guam's solid waste collection and disposal services beyond the end of this month. The request was made in the U.S. EPA's readiness report filed Friday in court. U.S. EPA does not suggest a new date, leaving it to the court to decide how much longer the receivership should last. USCBA report is one of 4 readiness reports that the judge ordered as she weighs whether or not the Guam Solid Waste Authority will be ready to take over on June 30th, the date on which the 10-year receivership is scheduled to end. Each of the reports filed with the court notes that there is still work to be done that won't be finished until after June 30th. Judge Gatewood has yet to decide on whether to extend the receivership or allow it to end as scheduled on June 30th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Right now with some weather.
I have the weather. Mostly cloudy this morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Isolated showers and thunderstorms, then isolated showers in the afternoon. East winds up to about 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs are going to be about 89 degrees. Overnight low 77 degrees. And you might have been woken up by the rain earlier this morning. I know I was. Let's take a look at the weather map here and see if we can get some sense of what it's going to be like for the rest of the morning. Here's Michael Knight.
Yeah, taking a look at radar, boy, lots of showers popped up overnight, and that was actually a bit of a surprise to the National Weather Service. They've been talking about a dry weather regime, but, well, lucky we live in the tropics, man, because things just kind of pop up like this. Had some fairly heavy showers pass north of the island very early this morning, about the time we got here. Looks like things are quieting down just a little bit for us, but we can see more stuff off to the east that's moving this way for late this morning and early this afternoon. We'll see if it all holds together.
Yeah. Now I've got some paddling friends that are going out this morning, and normally everything's all right. I said they worry a little bit about lightning. Do you suppose there might be a little bit more lightning, or we got a thunderstorm warning in effect?
From what I see right here, I don't think we're going to have too much reason to worry about lightning over the island. I got to look a little closer at my radar here to get that. They did have an advisory for the airport till 7 this morning, but the planes are flying off in that direction, so it's a little different. From what I'm seeing right here, I don't really think we're going to have to worry much about any lightning in the bays this morning. So I think they'll be okay.
Gotcha. Yes, perfect. 6:13. That's news. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't tell you about sunset tonight, 6:49. Did everybody get the pictures of the sunset last night?
I did.
Did you missed? Oh my God, it's just terrific. Goofing off with some friends over at Beach Bar, and then all of a sudden, just as it got to be sunset, massive crowd comes in, takes pictures, and then splits.
Wow.
But they all bought me, each one of them bought me a Corona. So everything, yeah. So I was just perfect.
That's good
6:14. That's 6:49 is sunset tonight. Sunrise this morning was at 5:54, about the same time tomorrow morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
Splash into summer savings and take advantage of our amazing deals on the best Samsung smartphones. Get the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus for only $149, the S9 for only $99, or the Galaxy Note 8 for only $99 as well. But these amazing deals won't last long. Come into a GTA store today to save big. Conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for details. Offer ends June 30th. GTA, your island, your network.
I got you. Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at King's Restaurant. And, guys that run a King's Place also have a hand in what goes on over at Ruby Tuesdays. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, I've named today's program Ruby Tuesdays. So I thought maybe I'd spend a little time talking about For the Love of Burgers. They're back with a menu dedicated to the most perfect of culinary creations, the beloved hamburger.
That's nice.
No, it's you know what they've got. So it's going to be breakfast time, right? And you're thinking, wait a second, can I have a hamburger for breakfast? This is the United States of America. If you want a hamburger for breakfast, you can have one. How about the Excalibur burger? American cheese, andouille sausage, an over-easy egg, and a Nancy mayo make this burger a tasty treat any time of the day.
Breakfast right there.
It's got an egg.
Yes.
Just saying, guys. So you can go to King's and have, what do we got for lunch today? Tuesday is the beef sinigang? No, pork sinigang. No, bistek tomorrow today. Or you can go next door to Ruby Tuesdays and get yourself one of those Excalibur burgers.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Hey, avocados are healthy, right? They're good for you? It's a healthy thing.
They're high in protein. They're a little high in fat, but that's good fat. That's stuff you can go out there and run off.
So if you eat lots of them, you'll have lots of that good fat in your system, and maybe you don't need to work out so much.
No,
I'm just trying to ease
Avocados are delicious.
Let's trying to ease into something new they've got over for you at Wendy's. Avocado is in. Try the new Southwest Avocado Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Crispy, spicy. Now this is the thing. Anybody can do spicy chicken. You can go anywhere and get spicy chicken, but the way they do it over at Wendy's is incredible. Crispy, spicy chicken kicked up with pepper jack cheese, Southwest ranch, applewood bacon, and then they cool it off with cool, creamy avocado. Plus, they've got a Southwest avocado chicken salad available. For a limited time, stop by the nearest Wendy's and try one today. Wendy's, now that's better.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Just a bundle of nervous energy this morning. Just a bundle of, I don't know. It's like I've had already 18 cups of coffee, just kind of wired. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. But first of all, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. This is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson, and I've got Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, who, unlike me, was enjoying sunsets and Coronas over at the beach bar last night, was actually working. You were actually slaving over a hot monitor watching the proceedings over at the legislature.
And what an interesting hearing it was.
What somebody on Facebook,
all kinds of personalities. Somebody
on Facebook said, "Oh yeah, it was a real mic drop moment." And I'm scanning through the thing this morning, going, where? I'm going, where's the beef here in this? We got a bunch of doctors in there that and then finally getting around to the administrators, and I'm going, where was the part about problem solving? Did anybody offer anything new? No. Did I say that yesterday? Did I suggest yesterday that we weren't going to see or hear anything new or different than what we've heard before? I did. You might have missed it, but I did. It was going to be the same. Maybe they'll find out a little bit more in the investigation. I don't know. There was a new character, Dr. Sam Friedman, who came out and provided some testimony. I will play some of that testimony for you because I'm lazy and I don't want to talk the entire 4 hours. So I'm just being honest. So I do have a link to some of the testimony that Friedman provided over at the legislature last night, and I'll play some of it for you. That's not the only thing that took place yesterday. There's a couple of other interesting deals that are out there that we can talk about here. Lulian Guerrero, who we spoke with yesterday on the program. You might know her. She used to be a senator, and she'll tell you over and over and over about how she was a nurse, et cetera, et cetera. But yesterday, her and Josh, in apparently a very long platform presentation get-together conference, 45 minutes, was that what it was, start to finish? That's a lot of platform stuff there. But suggested that trust in the government of Guam has never been lower than it is now. Do you buy that? Do you feel it? 888-8255 or hit me up on the Facebook. Are you the same as her? Do you go, you know what? She's right. I don't trust the government of Guam any further than I could spit a mouse.
That's about right.
Yeah. So how do you feel about I ask you this out here in the cold because it's also part of the online poll at thepoint.gu. Rate your level of trust in the government of Guam. And there's a variety of them, and they're not going to go in order. So there's large trust, zero trust, only a little trust, medium trust, or I work at Adeloop, so my trust level is super huge. See, I put that in place because I figured that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people over at Adeloop. They're going to be told to start clicking on the online poll. So I figured I'd just go ahead and make that an option. I work at Adeloop, so my trust level is super huge. You can find that at thepoint.gu. And unlike other poll places, unlike other online poll features that some other media and their websites might have, you're capable of leaving a comment. It asks you for your name and email, but hey, those are totally optional. And if you're going to use, you can use somebody else's name if you want. I'm Michael Knight, and I want you to read my comments in a deep Michael Knight voice.
Nice.
Even if you're not Michael Knight. And then just put your comments down there. Click on where it says publish my comments, and then I will review them to make sure we don't get sued, and then those will show up on the poll.
Okay. It won't be my comment unless there's some sort of conspiracy involved.
Rate your level of trust in the government of Guam. And so that voice that you just heard, that was Michael Knight. He pushes the button, gets a phone when you call 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. If you can't remember that, say good morning, Dave Duenas, Karina Ludwig, Gutierrez Ludwig. We should play the Cheers melody now.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yes, and the group is all together now, and there's a couple of new names. Yvonne Caldwell, nice to see you there. Paris Mendiola Blas, we'll always have Paris. Joe Cruz, the real one. Ramona Nakamura, good to see you there. Randy Kruger, Sonia Kelly. Hi, Charlene Marcia So. Carl Pangolina, the one with a K. What'd you think of the Open yesterday? What's the name of the guy that won that? One under? Plus one?
Kopke, right?
Kopke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Carl's like a golf guy. He would know about that. Marlon Molinos is there, Pete Guerrero. And Pete sent an interesting link. I'll go over in just a little bit. Just when you thought tourism to Guam from Japan couldn't possibly get any worse, there is now an alliance between, I think it's Hawaiian Air and Japan Airlines, and that's going to be moving hundreds of thousands of Japanese butts in those chairs to places besides Guam. I see Zita Taitano is there, Robert Lloyd and Lou Sanchez. Hey, Lou. John Larimer and Shelley Gibson and Bob Kelly is listening off island. Ron of Jehi is saying, morning, Ramon. I like it when people call me Ramon. That's nice. Real ID and driver's licenses. I guess the driver's license I have is a fake. There's a story floating around. I guess they're not going to be issuing driver's licenses on Friday. So if you were supposed to get one, if that's your birthday, it's one of the things you got to do, a license renewal, I'm going to wave you off on Friday. I guess there's training that they're going to be doing so that they can prep the DMV people so that they know how to issue these real IDs. And I'll see what I can find out later. Should I go back and get one? Should I go back and get a real ID?
Not if you don't have to.
Can I run faster? Will it restore my virginity if I get a real ID?
You can't even get more beer with it, man. It's worthless.
What's the point then? Why do I need it? Anyway, we'll talk about that because I'm curious. I didn't have an option when I signed up for mine, and I won't go back for another driver's license for another 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the 5-year plan.
Yeah, I did the 3 year. So
because I'm not gonna forget how to drive in 5 years. So I figured, you know what, I'll still be safe.
Well, I'm an excellent driver,
and I don't think I'll look any different in 5 years.
Yeah, but you won't be real.
Oh, that reminds me, mustache or no mustache? It was something we were talking about late in the show. Should I get a mustache?
It looks like you're working on one.
I forgot to shave this.
I'm all for the Fu Manchu, man. You got to go for the Fu Manchu.
I want the one with the little curly things on the side. I see Nick Perlowski is up this morning. Juanita Ariel Sablon. Hello, pretty. Ken Williams and Susan Bobbis listening from Vegas, I think is where she is. Viv Cunningham, Juanita, and golly, a whole bunch of other people. It's great to see you all there this morning. And chime in. Let me know what you're thinking. Jeff Evans. Former talk show host, radio guy, has got the radio on up in Northern California. Jeff, you should call me. 888-8255. 671-888-8255. Which version of California are you going to live in?
Yeah, they're supposed to try to split it up
into three.
Yeah.
So there's California, which I think is, that's, what is that, west coast of California?
Right,
like
yeah.
Los Angeles
Yeah, Los Angeles,
San Diego?
just shy of San Francisco. But yeah, from there down, I don't even know California.
And then there's one that's more inland, and then there's one that's more northern, right?
Northern Cal.
Okay,
They
so
should just sell California back to the Mexicans.
Nice. All right, so we got a bunch of other stuff to play around with. Lou says trust in the government is the lowest possibly ever. My trust of any government doing anything right is 0, according to Randy. I'm with you, buddy. Get as much government out of the way as possible. Small government is the way to do it. And everybody's, well, what about these people? What about those people? We'll build in the mechanisms to take care of all of the folks that can't take care of themselves. But for the most part, I think most people are capable of taking care of themselves without too much government assistance and government help. Although there is something that I would like to see regulated a lot more, and I think this is something I want to spend a little bit of time working on in the program this morning. And I've mentioned this, and I'll mention it again. It's the beginning of a rant. You know, we had Father's Day over the weekend. And sometimes they're good for dads, and sometimes they're tough for dads. The economic conditions in this town make things very difficult sometimes to be able to want to give your little prince and princesses every little thing that they want. And sometimes, in some cases, every little thing that they need. But there are places to go when you run into those kinds of problems. And people that the government will find some place for you to stay. They will find a way to make sure that your children don't go to sleep on an empty stomach, which is why I don't understand why I'm beginning to see. I do understand, but for the purposes of the layup here, let me just say, I don't understand why I'm beginning to see so many beggars on the street now using children. They're using the kids.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm from a time where I grew up, there were no beggars on the road. There was nobody out there panhandling all the time. And now it is normal. They're cutting a groove in the medians with their Zoris up and down the street all day. And what has become a little bit more common, I would say fashionable among these panhandlers, is having kids out there with them.
Well, nothing tugs at the heartstrings like seeing a child in need.
Oh, and I'm watching this. I'm watching this action and right by the court, right across from the library, right by the court in Agania, there's this woman and there's a little kid. And the woman is walking around and asking folks for donations. And when she thinks she's got somebody on the line, bam, here comes the kid.
Saw a post
Kid'll come out there and oh, thank you, grab the money.
Saw a post on Facebook over the weekend, and someone had been eating in the upper floor of the McDonald's over on Hamburger Road there at Route 16.
Right.
And they were watching because there is a couple that likes to stand out there on that corner with their children. Turns out the mom will sit in a nice, almost new black car in the air conditioning while the kids stand out there with their dad panhandling.
Oh, so people were actually marking this. They were watching it.
There were pictures and there were pictures and everything posted on Facebook, and the guy was telling the story.
Oh, I missed that. So where is? Yeah, I'm with you. Lynn is going. That's child endangerment. And I saw there was a guy actually had his the little girl on his shoulders as he's walking in between the cars at the intersection, trying to grab money from people. I'm looking at this, going, where are the police to do something about this? Can Child Protective Services not swoop in and get these kids out from under these dangerous conditions?
Shame.
It is.
Yeah, there's plenty of good jobs down in Tumon.
Yeah, how do you? I don't know. As a parent, how do you look at your children, asking them to go and become the second generation of panhandlers in your family? I get it. The state of pedestrian safety on Guam anymore. Yeah. Which is becoming kind of dangerous and ludicrous. So, it's not something that I can completely get into a rant on here, because I'm more disappointed than I am angry about it. Right. Number one, that it's happening, and number two, there doesn't seem to be anybody doing anything about it. Yeah. And so maybe today we're going to make some phone call and find the party in the government of Guam that nobody trusts, that is supposed to be out there doing it, looking out for the welfare of these children and getting them out from under these idiot parents.
It's like I say, I'm new here. Coming here was kind of cool from the Philippines. I was like, a little taste of USA, where there's law and order. Well, here on Guam, there's plenty of law, and there's just no order.
Lots of drama, no plot. You can't fix stupid, says Nix, not even with duct tape. 6:31 in the morning. Is it duct or duck? I think we solved this problem once upon a time, didn't we?
Technically, it's duct tape, but people just say duct tape because that's.
I'm going to Google that. I'm going to go because I heard the opposite, that it's actually supposed to be DUCK tape.
No, I've never heard that. Let's see what Kevin's
Duck brand duct tape.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, Kevin. That didn't help at all. All right, it's 6:31 in the morning. Headline time from the Guam Daily Post. Look, it's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Mario Fernandez Cortez has been sentenced to 33 months in federal prison for felony tax evasion. Chief Prosecutor Joseph McDonald said he believes it's the first such conviction on Guam. In addition to prison time, Cortez, who's a civil engineer, has been ordered to pay nearly $1 million in back taxes he owes to both GovGuam and the federal government. The amount includes penalties and interest for taxes unpaid between 2009 and 2013. Senator Luis Muña has introduced a bill that would allow for limited home cultivation of medicinal marijuana. Bill 302 would amend the existing medicinal marijuana law by requiring the Department of Public Health to issue a permit to a patient or a patient caregiver, allowing them to cultivate cannabis if there is no operational dispensary for cannabis. Guam's 4-year-old medicinal marijuana law has yet to be fully implemented, and the senator says it's unfair that patients in need have had to wait so long for cannabis dispensaries to open, and there's no relief in sight, she said. In order to be eligible for a home cultivation permit, the applicant must pledge not to divert cannabis to anyone not allowed to possess it. The permit allows the patient or caregiver to have no more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants at any given time. The marijuana must be grown out of sight, indoors, or behind a locked gate, outdoors, and out of sight from the public. Former Senator Bob Klitsky has sent a letter to the Guam Department of Education calling on DOE Superintendent John Fernandez to stop paying David Cruz's salary. Cruz is the lieutenant gubernatorial running mate of Senator Dennis Rodriguez, who's running for governor. Klitsky's petition argues that it's illegal for Cruz to be employed by Guam DOE while he is campaigning. Cruz is a junior reserve officer training corps instructor at JFK High. Prior to becoming a candidate, Cruz's employment status was converted from full-time employee to a contractor who's paid under a professional service agreement. The attorney, Klitsky, the Attorney General's office, that is, approved the legality of the agreement, and Klitsky contends that Cruz remains an employee of Guam DOE. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:34, and that's iConnect time. They want you to connect longer for less with their incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yep, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha. Sriracha! It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC is finger-licking good.
Portions of the program also brought to you by my friends over at American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
No traffic. It's too early for traffic. I checked after I turned on the big air machines. A lot of people don't realize this, but there is no air on Guam until after I get to the radio station. We've got a switch that goes to the main air generation plant down at Cabras, and I turn that thing on, and then there's air. There's also, we're also in charge of making sure that there is going to be some traffic, and I'm looking at the gizmo right now. I don't see anything. Now, there have been some early morning showers and maybe a few more scattered showers on the roadways here on Guam, so that could be affecting your drive to work, so you might want to leave just a couple of minutes early, just in case you hit someplace that's got, standing water, flat tires, all of that. Is there raining? Is it raining right now, Michael? Michael's actually got the. We could look out the window, but Michael has radar.
Yeah, and this is a cool little program. I don't usually tout programs, but this is called My Radar, so go find it. It's really cool. Yeah, we got some pretty heavy showers actually moving across up through, Jigo, Barragata Heights, in Dededo, northern side of the island. So watch out for that. It's going to be a wet ride.
All right, gotcha. And don't see anything major on the traffic, so that's cool. We'll keep it short. That's traffic, right now traffic here on The Point.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, there's some amazeballs out there. We'll talk about that and more as the program continues to launch its way through. Tuesday morning, and it was a great Monday night, and as I said, it was a beautiful sunset. If you're not taking pictures at least once a week of the sunsets that we're getting these days and posting those up on your Instagrams or your social medias or whatever, you're missing out because there has just been some great shows about 6:45 at night in this town as the sun makes its way down, and then the incredible splash of colors even after the sun has gone down.
And part of that is still some of the very, very light particulate matter that's making it up from the volcanic explosions over in Kilauea. And of course, we've had another one. Let's see, Sakurajima in Japan just recently erupted, which actually that would probably affect our sunsets even more than Kilauea. So a lot of volcanic activity going on, and it's making for real pretty skies at night.
Oh, I'm absolutely digging it these days, and no filters required. I know sometimes you want to use the filter that came with the phone and all that. Never mind, you don't need it. It is absolutely gorgeous out there. There's an interesting story about Bob Klitsky, and you might have heard us talking about this before, about the role that David Cruz has still in the government of Guam, that Bob Klitsky does not think is suitable for him if he wants to run as lieutenant governor of Guam. Bob Klitsky's warpathing on David Cruz. So bring him on this morning. Hey, Senator Klitsky, how you doing?
Fair to partly cloudy this morning, Ray, but things brighten up as the day rolls on now that I am listening to The Point.
Well, it's, I try to come in with a cheery and chipper misdemeanor.
Always do.
And every once in a while, a random fact that might sneak into some of the conversation. And so if you would, go back a couple of steps here and identify the reasons why you were asking John Fernandez to stop cutting checks for David Cruz.
The reason is that David Cruz is a candidate for public office, and there is nothing in Guam law that allows a person to be a candidate for public office and be a government employee except 5 well-defined exceptions to the law, none of which are applicable to David Cruz.
Okay, can we go over those 5 for the junior jurists out there that are going to try to figure out which side of the fence they want to sit on? Because there's people that are going to go, I like Dave Cruz. You know, he's a kind of a dark horse lieutenant governor candidate, man, out of nowhere. What do we know about this guy? Who is he? Is he going to be a real plus for the Rodriguez campaign? And then we start hearing that maybe he doesn't have any business legally to be running as lieutenant governor candidate and still getting a paycheck from the Department of Education. So what are those 5 things?
Well, Ray, political disappointment describes my reaction when I found out that Cruz was still on the payroll because I went to the GFT banquet this spring, and I guess they were really hard up, and they asked me to speak, and really hard up for a speaker. But it was announced that night that David Cruz was running for lieutenant governor, and I said, that is really good news because I knew David Cruz from the Guard. He was a good officer. He was a career guardsman. He was the United States Property and Fiscal Officer for Guam for 6 years, and those not in the Guard perhaps don't have as much appreciation for that as I do, but PFO is actually on active duty with either the Army or the Air Force, and there's only one in every state or territory, and it's a very trustworthy position. So had David done that, He'd retired from the Guard. I knew that he was an ROTC instructor. I thought maybe he'd retired from the Department of Education. So I said to myself, this is great. This is exactly the kind of guy that I'd like to see running for political office. He hasn't been part of the political class all his life. He's gone out and done other things. He's accomplished. He's trustworthy. He's a good man. And then when I heard that he was still working at the time that he was running for office, I thought, oh, this is really bad news. So to answer your question, Ray, there are 5 exceptions. Exception number 1, a person holding elective office.
Okay, Dave is not currently holding elective office.
He wants
disqualified.
Yeah. 2, a special or staff assistant to the governor.
Again, does not apply. Disqualified.
3, a person appointed by the governor with the consent of the legislature. Nope.
No. Disqualified.
4, a person retained from time to time to perform professional or special services for a specific fee. Well, David's not employed from time to time. He's got a 48-month contract.
So nothing special or unusual. So I would say that item number 4 also disqualifies him. You've got one more chance, Dave.
And let's see, number 5 is a person working on a casual basis. Now, casual there doesn't mean kind of your nonchalant approach to what you're supposed to do or not do. Working on a casual basis on the day he performs no services. You know, there are wise guys out in the audience. They're having a lot of fun with this one. Employees includes a person on administrative, annual, etc. So number 5 doesn't apply to him either.
But there's got to be a way. I mean, certainly the legal eagles over at Dennis Rodriguez's campaign and others have gone through this and vetted it. Has it also not been approved by the Attorney General?
Well, it has, but I'm going to send you this, Ray. I'm a little bit tardy in getting this out, but the Attorney General should be completely aware of a case called Heiser versus Department of Law, which she bungled back during the first time when she.
What did you say? How did you say she handled that?
She bungled it. Yeah, and Heiser versus Department of Law, Heiser wound up with a damage award of over $400,000 because our Organic Act says that a person can only be outside the merit system, that is, an unclassified employee.
Yes.
If there's a showing that it would not be practicable for him to be a classified employee. Well, Cruz was a classified employee for 7 years up until February, so obviously it's not
impracticable.
Yeah, so and she signed off on it anyhow. So I mean.
So I asked you this before. You've sent a petition to the Department of Education.
To the director, to the superintendent of education, John Fernandez.
Yeah. And so the question that I'm asking is that the right neck to grab? I mean, shouldn't you be talking to Calvo over at Civil Service?
No,
I
don't think so. First of all, as a general principle, I avoid the Civil Service Commission if there's any other possible option.
But I just think that's the venue for the complaint.
No, it isn't. First of all, John Fernandez is the appointing authority, and the personnel rules and regulations of the government of Guam say that a person can be terminated for improper political activity. And that's exactly what Cruz is doing, improper political activity. 1. 2, it is improper political activity. And if Cruz is, in fact, an unclassified employee, and I would say that both he and Fernandez, although another wrinkle here is I examined that contract, and to me, it brings him within the classified service. But putting that aside, both Cruz and Fernandez would be estopped denied that he's unclassified. So if he's unclassified, Fernandez can fire him tomorrow for
these improper political activities.
Yeah. And for political activity. So, no, the Civil Service Commission is not the appropriate venue. It's John Fernandez.
Okay. So, and if Dave had a problem with it, then he could take the case to the Civil Service Commission.
No, he couldn't.
Oh, no.
No, well, if in fact he is an
Unclassified.
employee.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So I think
That's right.
I think David Cruz has worked himself into a deep hole that he can't dig his way out of.
Okay, so if John Fernandez, who's probably got the radio on going, crap, I'm going to have to deal with this. Wonderful. Thanks, Ray. So if John's listening, he's going, now, if he terminates or if he stops paying David Cruz, does that solve David and Dennis's problems? Does that get him out of the hot water that they are in with you? Does it get you off the warpath and on to the next thing?
Well, that's actually two different questions. One, does it get me off the warpath? Well, I petitioned for a particular kind of relief.
Thank you, Counselor.
And if the relief is granted, yes. But I also point out that, you know, if this is as it looks, because John Fernandez was quoted as saying, you know, this is an unusual thing to happen. This doesn't happen. But I understand why David Cruz wanted to do it. Well, if he understood that David Cruz wanted to do it so he could run for office,
then let him go.
Well, but then John Fernandez has a problem with sections of Title III that say that people in charge are not supposed to use their influence to further a political campaign.
By virtue of the fact that he's still there, it can be inferred that he is.
By virtue of the fact that he gave him the contract in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as Cruz is concerned, yeah, if he were no longer drawing a check from the government of Guam, I suppose the threshold for the what we would call a taxpayer suit is $1,000. So by close of business today, no, actually close of business yesterday, Cruz went over the threshold. So I suppose I could pound my fist on the table and say, Cruz got to pay the money back, but I don't know if I would do that or not. So that's getting me off the warpath. Getting him out of hot water, now that's a totally different question, because when this first came up, my initial reaction was, Dennis wants to run for governor of Guam, and what he did gives rise to two questions. One, he wants to run for governor of Guam, and he has such a little understanding of the personnel system. Whoa. Or Dennis wants to run for governor of Guam, and he has this kind of understanding of the political system so that he can come up with this bogus contract and kind of game the system. That's even worse.
I wouldn't call it corrupt.
I beg your pardon?
I wouldn't call it corrupt.
I don't think I use that word in the 11 pages of my petition.
Yeah.
But, you know...
But it's slippery. In the very least. Okay, so, and I appreciate that, but legally does it get them out of this place? If he's not drawing a paycheck from the Department of Education, if he's there on a completely voluntary basis, no actual legal connection anymore to the government of Guam, that would free him to run as Lieutenant Governor with Dennis Rodriguez.
Well, he can run anyhow. See, it's impossible, I think illegally impossible, to condition political candidacy on where you work, because the Organic Act says you got to be for lieutenant governor, you got to be 30, you got to be a resident for 5 years, you got to be a citizen, you can't be a criminal.
Right.
We can't add anything to that. We can't say, plus you can't work for the government of Guam.
No. I get that in regards to the language of the Organic Act, but legally now, if he is not, if he's neither a classified or unclassified employee of the government of Guam, and just an entity, just somebody that goes into the class every once in a while on a voluntary basis, that would make it so that there would no longer be the specter of improper political activity.
Well, if I could give you an autobiographical example, Ray, back when I ran the first time in 2002, I did a gig as a substitute teacher at George Washington High School.
Okay. All right.
I didn't get paid for it. That wasn't even, I wasn't even, I was a candidate, but I didn't get paid for it. So, yeah, he could do that if he wanted to. But the key here is this, that he has a 48-month contract at $124,000 and a golden parachute, because if he should lose, that contract stays in place. So he's got the best possible situation, and if you stop and consider that in the total scheme of things, that's a heck of an advantage for him compared to say, a Javier Italic, who's, out there working hard, trying, just an average guy, trying to scrape together enough money maybe to put up a few signs, running against, he's not running for lieutenant governor, but then you got somebody else out there who's pulling down $124,000 on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
It's just such an advantage for what I call a quasi-incumbent.
And 9 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. Programming note, I'm going to be off island visiting Singapore for a trade show most of next week. I'll do the show on Monday, and Bob Klitsky will be looking over my shoulder on Monday, probably Friday as well if you want to.
I do.
Okay, and so Bob will be in here looking over my shoulder, and you and I can get together on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Is that right? For the rest of the week, it's going to be you.
Yes.
Okay, and we've abridged the program, so it's only going to be from 6 until 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So with because sometimes you get into that 9 o'clock hour, and then people will bring in boring guests. I figure we'll just go to the network at that time and throw the fun stuff into 6 to 9 for the next morning. So that's what we'll do. So that's the programming note. I'm not going to be here. Bob Klitsky is, and friends, we'll call it an audition because Bob wants to do a couple hours in the afternoon here on this radio station.
True enough.
Okay. That's a disclosure. I like to put all of the cards on the table. And one last thought for you while I'm thinking about this. This is nice. Roel Bejarana, I call him Casey, Madorong, says, I had breakfast with Bob Klitsky this past Saturday with my cousin, Catherine Bejarana. Do you recall the meeting?
I do indeed.
Very good.
Yeah.
Casey, it's good to see you back on Guam at the beach volleyball places. But the question I've got for you, Senator, is trust in the government of Guam. Lulian Guerrero said in her platform presentation yesterday that it has never been lower. It's the lowest level of trust the people of Guam have with their government of Guam. I'd like to ask you to rate your level of trust in the government of Guam. Is it 0? Is it just a little bit? Medium trust? Large trust? Or I work at Adeloop, so my trust level is super huge. Because somebody's going to make them click on that all day. Because wait, this is Eddie's government. I trust it.
Yeah. Well, you remember a gentleman named Ronald Reagan and his approach to the Soviet Union, Ray?
Trust but verify.
You got it. Yeah. And because of the Fourth Estate, especially talk radio, it's so much easier to verify now than it was, say, back in the day. So I'm quite interested in verifying in order to substantiate my trust.
Well, it's nice somebody knows their way through the Guam Code Annotated. Fun talking with you, Bob. I'll see you later.
Okay, Ray.
Have a fantastic morning. 888-8255. That's 888-8255. Lots more folks chiming in online. Mark Mendiola is there. Deborah Weger. Good morning, Juanita Blas and KC and Amanda Shelton and Nita Santos. Senator Regine Biscoli and Darlene Blas are on. Oh, beauty contest again. I see what's happening. John Bagaforo. Hey, Baggy. And Lynn Perez. Jimmy Moylan, who wants to be a senator. Cousin Mitchell Prashado. I see the very pretty Yuka Oguma from Guahan Insurance is online. Lillian Cruz and Rick Leone. You got any other advertisers there, Ray? Sue Lee is on. Ruben Mortera. And Ruben, my idea here, this will make everybody happy. Ice cream for breakfast, right? We got to do that. We got one of these days, we'll open one of the Haagen-Dazs early, and we'll just do it. It's ice cream for breakfast day. What do you say? It could be, we'll just make it a tradition.
Man.
One of those traditions we do every day.
Haagen-Dazs? Holy smokes, man. That's like luxury ice cream breakfast.
I know. That's, I see where. Oh, Jess De La Pena is on this morning. Rita Hugo, Venue Guam. Hafalai. Good to see you there. Why are you chiming in? Did I walk out on the tab again? My buddy Yoich Ringil and Andy Tidinko and Bob Lizama. And you can chime in as well. 888-8255 on the phone. Use the email thing, RayGibsonShow@gmail.com. And there's another great way to get a hold of me, and it's the WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp. If you got my WhatsApp, no, you know what? I got to finish working on this. I've got another WhatsApp account that I'm going to... Yes, it's the secret WhatsApp account.
As if having one account with Thousands of messages every day. It wasn't enough for Ray
No. I gotta get another one here. But I'd make it so it was just for the morning show, so people can WhatsApp. And the cool thing about WhatsApp, and you know this, if you're a power user of WhatsApp, you know this. You can send text, obviously. You can send pictures, obviously. Did everybody get the Archbishop Father's Day meme? Did everybody get that? Okay, if you didn't get it, let me know and I'll send it to you.
I didn't get that, so
I'll send it to you.
Nice.
Send it to you, and you'll go, land number one. What are you doing there? So there's, but you can also send video and audio.
That's right.
So Michael Knight sends audio all the time. You're actually an expert.
I prefer to do the audio because the fat fingers, tiny keyboard thing just gets real frustrating after a couple of messages.
Ruben says sounds good. Ice cream for breakfast. Start working on that this morning. 6:56 in the morning. Where else do we get to go? There's another really interesting story in the fold of the Guam Daily Post. Tax evader sentenced to 33 months in prison. A civil engineer has been sentenced to 33 months in federal prison for what Joe McDonald, the chief prosecutor, believes to be the first felony tax conviction on Guam. In all of the years that we have been doing tax collection and people not paying taxes or avoiding taxes, they finally got somebody all the way through. He's got to pay back about $1 million in restitution for taxes to the government of Guam. About 857 of that is to go to the Department of Revenue and Taxation. This will go in the next batch of refunds, by the way. Another $62,000 or so is owed to the Internal Revenue Service as self-employment taxes. This includes penalties and interest for taxes unpaid between 2009 and 2013. And I would hope that there's enough in this story that there's enough of an example is made in this story for people that have been scofflawing at paying their taxes of one kind or another over the years to say, hey, maybe I need to get mine taken care of. How much longer before the...
Today is the last day for the amnesty.
Today is the last day for amnesty.
To file an application.
Okay, so you can file the application today, and then...
You have to put your 10% down or the full amount, but it has to be at least 10%, and then you have until, I think, first week of August to pay it in full.
The whole thing. Yeah. But if you do it that way, you don't have to worry so much about the penalties and interest. We just want you to pay the principal balance on this 10% today, but you got to get in there today. Otherwise, hey, you could be the next guy, front page of the newspaper here with doing the perp walk on the way out, getting ready to do 33 hard months in prison. I don't want to do that. Where's it? There's another guy. This is another interesting story I found. Foreign band recruiter sentenced to 6 months. Jemuel Luciano is accused of visa fraud as part of a scheme to recruit female band members from the Philippines to sell drinks to club patrons. He's been sentenced to 6 months in federal prison. Now, as I understand this, Kevin, he's not in trouble. Buy me drinky is not against the law, right?
It should be.
You seen the prices? So, but in this case, it's not. What happened was he fraudulently brought them here under the guise of performers, but instead they were making another living by being hostesses. That's the illegal part, right? That's the fraud part of it, right?
Yep.
But the buy me drinky thing, that's still good.
If you want.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. My name is Ray Gibson. That's Kevin. He's got no news. He's got new news coming up in just a little bit. Fox. Shut up. Stop laughing at me. We've got Fox News coming up here in just moments. Ray Gibson Show continues.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. President Trump standing his ground on immigration.
You look at what's happening in Europe, you look at what's happening in other places. We can't allow that to happen to the United States, not on my watch.
He says immigration reform is what's needed to end the separation of families crossing the southern border illegally. Democrats in Congress have been visiting detention centers around the country, including one in San Diego today. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal with more live.
Lisa, Congressman Juan Vargas says they saw dozens of boys, some as young as 6, who were either unaccompanied or were separated from their parents.
So anyone that says, hasn't this always been our policy? No,
It hasn't been our policy.
President Trump blames Democrats, saying they need to come to the table to negotiate immigration policy. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says the president is using children to bargain.
They're doing this to get other bad immigration policy. But as I say, this isn't an immigration matter. This is a humanitarian. This is a family matter.
The congresspeople say they plan to visit 4 detention facilities altogether, Lisa.
Meantime, Jessica, the Homeland Security Chief now scheduled to speak at a White House briefing at this hour. At a Senate hearing on the handling of the Hillary Clinton email probe, South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham asking the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz whether the probe was done by the book. Horowitz answering this way.
I think there are reasons to raise questions on certain of these steps and decisions.
I think you did a good job, but the whole idea that this is normal, folks, there's nothing here normal. I don't want you to think the FBI does this day in and day out. This is not normal.
Overall, the IG defending his conclusions about political bias not affecting decision-making. Mixed finish on Wall Street, the Dow down 103, the S&P down 5, but the NASDAQ up a fraction. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
An ad council.
The president's telling the Pentagon to create a space force as a 6th branch of the U.S. military.
Our destiny beyond the earth is not only a matter of national identity, but a matter of national security. So important for our military. So important, and people don't talk about it.
He says American dominance in space is needed to help defend the country. It's not yet clear exactly what a space force would do. At a meeting of the National Space Council, the president also signing a new space policy directive to set up new guidelines for satellite design and operation, aimed in part at reducing satellite clutter in space. Legislative maps in Wisconsin and Maryland can stand for now.
The Supreme Court sending both gerrymandering challenges back to lower courts. In the Wisconsin case, a group of Democrats argue partisan redistricting dilutes their votes. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled those voters cannot sue on a statewide level and must instead challenge district by district. A separate challenge from Maryland Republicans challenging a single congressional district was also denied. Neither opinion answered broad questions, though, about how far state lawmakers can go when giving one party an advantage with electoral maps.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. Winning a championship doesn't guarantee anything.
In a statement Monday, Barry Trotz officially stepped down as head coach of the Washington Capitals, the move coming less than 2 weeks after the Capitals won their first Stanley Cup in franchise history, defeating the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. The team adding in their own statement, quote, "We are obviously disappointed by Barry's decision, but would like to thank Barry for all his efforts the past 4 years and for helping bring the Stanley Cup to Washington," end quote. Trotz leaves the Caps after 4 seasons with a record of 205 and 89, making the playoffs all 4 years, culminating in hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup this year.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Connect to more this summer. With fiber internet from GTA, you get up to 50 megabits of data per second for only $50 per month. And if that's not enough, Fiber Internet 50 plan includes free Wi-Fi. But this offer ends June 30, so sign up today and get ready for faster downloads, more streaming, a better gaming experience, and a stable connection across multiple devices. Conditions may apply. Visit GTA.net for more details. GTA, your island, your network.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam police have announced that the death of 15-year-old Timika J.D. Nauta last weekend has now been ruled a homicide. The girl was found dead in her bedroom Saturday morning at her home along Chalancota in Dededo. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola performed an autopsy yesterday but declined to discuss the results at the direction of the Guam Attorney General and Guam Police, who asked him to say nothing to the media. Police spent the weekend searching for clues, conducting interviews. Family members said there was a break-in across the street the same morning, and they're trying to determine if it was related to Nauta's homicide. Anyone with information about the crime is asked to call Guam Police or call Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. Dr. Samuel Friedman added his name to a growing list of physicians critical of the management of Guam Memorial Hospital last night, saying the hospital was dysfunctional on all levels and it's being run by a small group of physicians in regressive and out-of-date ways. Friedman testified during an oversight hearing on GMH called by Health Committee Chair and gubernatorial candidate Senator Dennis Rodriguez. GMH Administrator Peter John Camacho and CFO Benita Manglonia didn't begin testifying until well after 8 o'clock last night, Camacho acknowledging that he has not yet shared the CMS report critical of hospital operations with his own board of directors, a revelation that Senator Rodriguez called very troublesome. Manglonia again underscoring the need for more funding, saying report after report and study after study has shown that GMH needs to be properly funded. More news after this.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Senator Luis Muñez introduced a bill that would allow for limited home cultivation of medicinal marijuana. Bill 302 would amend the existing medicinal marijuana law by requiring the Department of Public Health to issue a permit to a patient or a patient caregiver, allowing them to cultivate cannabis if there is no operational dispensary for cannabis. Guam's 4-year-old medicinal marijuana law has yet to be fully implemented, and the senator says it's unfair that patients in need are still waiting so long for cannabis dispensaries to open, and there's no relief in sight for them. In order to be eligible for a home cultivation permit, the applicant must pledge not to divert cannabis to anyone not allowed to possess it. The permit allows the patient or caregiver to have no more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants at any one time. The marijuana must be grown out of sight, indoors, or behind a locked gate outdoors and out of sight from the public. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency asking Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood to extend the receivership over Guam's solid waste collection and disposal services beyond the end of this month. The request was made in the U.S. EPA's readiness report filed Friday in U.S. District Court. U.S. EPA does not suggest a new date, leaving it up to the court to decide how much longer the receivership should last. The U.S. EPA report was one of 4 readiness reports that the judge ordered filed last Friday as she weighs whether or not the Guam Solid Waste Authority will be ready to take over on June 30th, the date on which the 10-year receivership is scheduled to end. The MRI unit at Guam Regional Medical City is back up and running. The hospital announcing yesterday the device is now back in service after the fire suppression unit in the MRI room accidentally triggered last week. There was no smoke or fire present when that happened. The device is now fully operational, and the hospital says patients in need of an MRI are now being seen. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Weather now with Ray.
That's the one they make you lay down very, very still, and they put you in this machine, and they ask you 18 times, are you sure you have no metal on your body at all? That's the gizmo, right?
That's the gizmo.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. They put headphones on. They're people that are very, very sensitive to that, the claustrophobic feeling.
Have you been in?
Yeah, I did. I had a injury on my leg once, so I went in and had them do the MRI on the leg, and that was an interesting experience to begin with. But then it was Christmas time, and the only thing the guy had. He says, "Did you bring any music with you?" I said, "No. What do you got?" He says, "Dude, all I got is Christmas songs." So I'm in the MRI thing for like 45 minutes, listening, I think, like the same 3 songs over and over and over again. I hate Christmas. Mostly cloudy skies this morning, then becoming partly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms this morning, then isolated showers in the afternoon. Expect east winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs today should be about 89 degrees, overnight lows 77 degrees. A weak surface trough will move through the region, bringing spotty showers to the island through the end of the week. Otherwise, a mostly dry trade wind pattern. Though there were some early morning showers today and some things that you might be looking at on your My Radar app. Is there anything that people need to be aware of right now as they make their way to work?
Looks like actually we got a pretty good line of showers getting ready to go across the whole entirety of the island in about the next 45 minutes. So prepare for a wet drive and just slow down, exercise some safety.
There's a mandatory slowing down. I'm looking at the traffic gizmo now. If you just hold on 1 second, I'll be able to pull the thing up so at least I can see it. We've got a line of traffic coming out of Vagana Heights into Navy Hospital. You'll also see a line of traffic waiting for you if you're headed into the main gate of Anderson Air Force Base, and it looks like traffic beginning to build as you're heading down to Navy in Sumai. So that's a look at news, weather, and traffic together here on The Point.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Hey, 7:15 and make it a Ruby Tuesday after. I just talked to the guy in charge of King's and Ruby Tuesday and Chuck E. Cheese. He says I can talk about the burgers anytime I want to over at Chili's.
Wait,
at
Chuck E.
the Ruby
Cheese?
Tuesday. Yes, it's the classic Texas chili burger.
Nice.
That's-
Chili is great.
Chili is great,
It's
isn't
awesome. Yes, it is.
it? So this, can I tell you how I would hack this? I'd say I'll take the classic Texas chili burger,
right,
and then I want you to give me some chili in a bowl and put about that much rice in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That's and throw some Tabasco in there, and I'll have that with the chili burger.
You are on fire at that point.
That's the way. And I'll bet you they'll let you do it anyway. 8 burgers to choose from. Try one for just $11.99. Ruby Tuesdays, Guam lunchtime, and Ruby Tuesdays lunch starts at 10:30. Just FYI. What time does the program end? About 10.
So I guess we'll call that the Ray Gibson Chili Burger Combo.
A little synchronicity working for us this morning. That's what's going to be happening for lunch today over at Ruby Tuesdays.
Offering state-of-the-art MRI, full-field digital mammograms, full digital X-rays, and 4D ultrasounds. FHP Health Center provides comprehensive diagnostic medical imaging with the convenience and access our patients deserve. Our highly specialized board-certified radiologist ensures high-quality, patient-focused care with every visit. Call the FHP Health Center at 646-5825 and press 2 to schedule your appointment today. Most insurance is accepted, including Netcare, Aetna, and TRICARE.
Portions of the program brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Chili's Rib Fest is back. You can get saucy with their fall off the bone, slow smoked half rack of ribs for $10.99. Available in original, roasted garlic, or honey chipotle flavors. Served with home style fries. Add an additional half rack of ribs for just $7. Low and slow is the key to more flavor. Chili's Rib Fest for $10.99. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here. Baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Thanks, Gerard. Appreciate your like on my Facebook page with a picture of my father holding me. And yeah, everybody is amazed at the similarity, at the way he looked when I was born and the way I looked at about the same age. It's just phenomenal. And the lucky thing for me, I also got his voice and his sense of humor. I wish I was as smart as him, though. That would complete the trifecta. A couple of folks on Facebook, on the Facebook Live this morning, asking about a couple of messages that I might be able to pass along. My friend Juanita Blas says, the Island Girl Power Kurasoni Samsung Thrift Store, 50% off store-wide summer clearance until July 12th. Store is open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Let me say it this way. They're open today and tomorrow and Thursday, closed on Friday, open on Saturday, 10 to 5 p.m. For information, call 989-1604. And I want to say, Yoich let me know about this. Ray, our Trio Upward Bound program is having its annual overnight campout at the Leon Guerrero Beach in Inarajan. Yes, Inarajan. You know what you can do in Inarajan, Yoich, with the kids?
You can search the coastline for barrels.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Kevin, reading my mind. To 60 high school students, staff, and parent volunteers. So are you asking me if I want to go? Because you said... Yeah. You got high school kids. It's probably going to be embargoing the coolers, right? Or searching mine? Yeah. I'll just publicize it. How's that? Come up with my own overnight plan. 7:19 in the morning. And now would be a good place to do the market report, right? Is that what we're supposed to be doing around here? Fine. Let's take a look at it. The S&P 500 closing down 2773, off by about 6 points. The NASDAQ up by a skosh, 7,747 points is where the NASDAQ is going to open up tomorrow. The Dow Jones Industrial Average back under 25,000. Lost 103 points in trades today, 24,987. And there might be some people running around there going, oh, boo-hoo. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is under 25,000. See, Trump broke it. That's what they're going to say. Trump broke it. Okay, let me put this into perspective here. Just 5 years ago, five years ago, The Dow Jones Industrial Average was, and I thought it was banging. I thought it was looking good. 15,318.
Right.
So we're about 10,000 points higher than that. And if you look over the calendar, you can see what the Trump effect was. Just saying. I'm
You know,
saying,
there are conspiracy
he didn't break
theories
it.
that Trump is the Antichrist. It's a conspiracy theory. What? I'm just throwing it out there.
What websites are you going to? Where are you headed on the? You should when you're
The
on
only
the
thing
internet.
he lacks is being brought to death, being brought back to life after being killed. Read your Bible.
You know what we need? While I'm thinking about it, I mean, if you're going to do this Antichrist stuff,
I think I need a beer.
No, where's that music from Damien from the Omen?
Oh, the
movies,
Omen, yeah.
Right?
I'll look it up.
All right, go and find that, because when it's conspiracy theory time, I want to have a piece of music in the background, if you don't mind. Hey, you know what? It's your lucky day, kids. It's today is double Jerry Roberts Day. If you go to page, yay. If you go to page 19 in the Guam Daily Post, there is Jerry Roberts, and his column in the Post is called The Work Zone. Today's topic is safe way to handle service breakdowns. And you're wondering, wait a second, safe? So if I'm having a service breakdown, say at the drive-through, I should be concerned for my safety? No, there's it's an acronym, SAFE, and if you want to find out what that stands for, then you'll have to get a copy of today's Guam Daily Post and see what The Work Zone by Jerry Roberts has to say. We're doing something completely different. It's a totally different script, totally different write-up for what we call The Extra Point. So here is today's Extra Point with Jerry Roberts.
What's your morning routine like, and how can that influence the rest of your day? I'm Jerry Roberts, and let's talk about how the way you spend the first couple of hours can make a difference. Today, on The Extra Point, people generally start their day in one of two modes, reactionary or intentional. Let's compare the two. First, reactionary. You wake up with the alarm going off, and the first thing you do is check your phone for emails, texts, and what's up in your social media channels. If you have kids, you get them up, and everybody plows through the next 60 to 90 minutes as they try to get out the door for school and work. This is a morning where everything is rushed. There's not much time, if any at all, for relaxed conversation or pleasantries. It's stressful for everyone. People feel frazzled. Maybe you slam a couple of cups of coffee and something unhealthy for breakfast, and then you hit the workplace. Sometimes already in an agitated or even mentally exhausted state. Sound familiar? Now let's talk about being more intentional. Number one, you can control when you go to bed. Science tells us the prime hour to begin sleeping is 10 p.m. If you don't work normal daytime hours, you'll need to do a little homework to figure your best time. 2, shut down all electronics 30 to 60 minutes before going to bed. You're going to be totally unplugged. Spend 5 to 10 minutes thinking about and mapping out the next day's priorities. Number 3, plan for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you wake before that, avoid checking your phone. See if you can get back to sleep. If you meet your sleep goal, you'll wake up more refreshed than usual and with a clear mind. If it doesn't happen right away, don't give up. Your body will eventually adapt to fit the new schedule. 4, with others still asleep, you're free to greet the day on your terms, whatever those are. Here are some suggestions. Spend 5 to 10 minutes in prayer or just quiet time. Focus on gratitude and what you have, not what you don't have. After that, get in 15 to 20 minutes of exercise. In the next 20 minutes, eat a healthy breakfast and revisit your notes on what you want to accomplish that day. Follow that with a cold shower. If you can't handle cold right away, start with warm. Move to cool, then cold. Get at least a couple of minutes of cold water on your body. You'll feel incredibly refreshed when you finish. 5, if others are still asleep, you might nibble at an important project or goal. You'll be at your creative best. If they're waking up, you'll be in a much better frame of mind to get them going. The key is to meet the day in a quiet way and have time for yourself. This requires at least an hour. With planning, you can make it happen. Of course, when your personal time is over and you're feeling great, flip on the radio and see what Ray is up to. That's The Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
As I said, you get double Jerry today, once here on the Point, and again in the Guam Daily Post in the editorial section of the newspaper. 7:25 in the morning, and yeah, I think, oh, you know what I forgot to do before we got into the extra? I forgot to talk about oil. West Texas crude trading at $65.84, up from where it was before. $77.29 is the stale now price for Tappas crude. They have not updated the numbers for Tappas in a couple of days, so get ready for a surprise one way or the other when I finally do get access to real-time numbers. 7:25 in the morning. Now we can take the break. Be right back. Let you know what's happening in traffic. Sell some news with Kevin Kerrigan. That's all ahead.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Now, that was just a blip. That must have been some heavy early morning traffic in front of the bases and Navy Hospital. Looks like all of that is beginning to dissipate. Solid line of traffic, though, coming down from Dededo. More cars than usual. Not slowing down, just a lot of cars coming out of Dededo. And you'll meet a lot of cars going up into Dededo after you pass the intersection of 1 and 3. Looks like there might be a little bit of a slowdown, Brown. Yeah, at around the Ganya Shopping Center area for today, and that it might just be following traffic around. That might also be where there is a line of rain falling down on you, and it might be a good idea to slow down around there anyway. It's 7:26. That's what's happening in traffic and more right here on The Point.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
We're talking about conspiracy theories and the idea that my partner and friend Michael Knight has that Donald Trump might actually be the Antichrist. That's what we said about Obama.
It's just what I've heard.
And then Rick comes on the Facebook and says that he thinks I oversell conspiracy theories. Yeah. And I'll give you 2 reasons for it. Number one is I work with Mike, and Mike's brain is always working in that direction. And number 2, because I think there are actual conspiracies floating around here.
Oh, sure.
Just look at the headlines, look at all the big stories, and ask yourself, why do these things happen? I'm not saying it's corruption. I'm just saying that there's always something else happening behind the scenes, and you have to at least be open to the possibility that what you see, what you might put down as coincidence or something just happening the way things happen in a crazy way here on Guam. Maybe that's all there is to it, or maybe there are people pulling strings around here that you just don't see. And I got a grizzled old journalist over here. There are conspiracies, are there not? Are there
once in a blue moon?
Once in a blue moon, it'll pop up. Yeah, but for the most part,
most of the time, stupidity.
Just dumb guys out there doing dumb things. Smart guys out there doing dumb things. But you just never know. Where's the story? I'll give you a story today. And this one here for people we used to work with over at PNC. Janella Carrera, GMH administrator, allegedly tried to coerce staff into revealing issues about a whistleblower. And the whistleblower in this case is Dr. Shimabukuro. Over at GMH, the Assistant Administrator of Professional Support Services, recently stripped of her administrative responsibilities because of what Dr. Shimabukuro believes to be retribution for her passionately speaking out against the hospital. I can hear her say it, too. I can hear her say it. And if you want to hear her say it, I think she mentions it in the testimony that she provided last night over at the oversight hearing, right? They coming after me. They're coming after me. So is that a conspiracy theory? This is what Janella writes. PNC received evidence of a GMH nursing administrator allegedly requesting for employees to go public about issues they may have had with Dr. Shimabukuro. We have learned that no one was willing to come forward. To protect our sources, we have chosen not to publish or detail the contents of the evidence that they received, but Janella and everybody at the PNC believes that they have received evidence. It's 7:30. Time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Mario Fernando Cortez has been sentenced to 33 months in federal prison for felony tax evasion. Chief Prosecutor Joseph McDonald said he believes it's the first such conviction on island. In addition to prison time, Cortez, a civil engineer, has been ordered to pay nearly $1 million in back taxes he owes to both GovGuam and the federal government. The amount includes penalties and interest for taxes unpaid between 2009 and 2013. Former Senator Bob Klitsky has sent a petition to the Guam Department of Education calling on DOE Superintendent John Fernandez to stop paying David Cruz's salary. Cruz is the lieutenant gubernatorial partner of Senator Dennis Rodriguez, who's running for governor. Klitsky's petition argues that it's illegal for Cruz to be employed by Guam DOE while he is campaigning for public office. Cruz is a junior reserve officer training corps instructor at JFK High School. Prior to becoming a candidate, Cruz's employment status was converted from a full-time DOE employee to a contractor who is being paid under a professional service agreement. The Attorney General has already approved the legality of the agreement. Klitsky contends Cruz remains a full-time Guam DOE employee. 45 firefighter candidates have begun the Guam Fire Department's 6-month training cycle. The new training academy delayed because a third of the selectees were on military duty and couldn't be processed. Deputy Fire Chief Joey San Nicolas says the 45 candidates selected for the academy were vetted by DOA, passed a written and physical agility test, and then were chosen based on the interview board's scoring criteria. The deputy chief also confirmed that the academy includes immediate family members and close relatives of current and former firefighters. However, San Nicolas adds that quite a few applicants who were not selected were also immediate family members of current or former firefighters. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 7:32. That's iConnect time. Connect longer for less with their incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
Avocado is in at Wendy's. Try the new Southwest Avocado Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Crispy, spicy chicken, kicked up with pepper jack cheese, Southwest Ranch, Applewood bacon, and finished with cool, creamy avocado. Also available in the new Southwest Avocado Chicken Salad. For a limited time, stop by the nearest Wendy's and try one today. Wendy's, now that's better.
The employees of Morrico Equipment on Guam have something very special all to themselves every morning they go to work, and that is pride. They have pride in the Morrico Equipment logo, and they have pride in wearing the Morrico Equipment uniform. They have pride in driving each Morrico Equipment service truck and in operating the Morrico Equipment lowboy heavy haul tractor. Morrico Equipment employees have pride in their company because they own the company. Morrico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. If you would like to join the Morrico Equipment ESOP team, please apply via morricoequipment.com.
Gotcha. 7:35. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yep, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha. It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC is finger-licking good.
Sriracha is bomb. I'm telling you, there's nothing you cannot make taste better by putting a little line of Sriracha on it. I told you that there might be a little bit of a stand of traffic between Ganya Heights and Navy Hospital, and it looks like that is coming through. Do I have anything Marine Corps Drive going south? Nope. Nope, nothing in front of Anderson Air Force Base. A bigger line of traffic through there, but not enough to slow you down. A little bit, a few more cars than normal in front of Big Navy down in Sumai, but that's the way it looks right now at 7:35. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Bring it down. Show me what you got. Oh, wait, I got to show you what I got. That's the thing about the morning show, isn't it? 7:36. Whoa. Huh. I don't know if you heard that. There's thunder outside. Was there lightning? I didn't catch the lightning. Are we still on the air?
I saw the lightning, and then the light flickered above my head, so I thought, oh, no, it was a light flicker. And then,
boom. Yeah, so 888-8255 if we're still on the air. Sometimes you get a lightning strike like that, knock a transmitter off. Hopefully none of ours. Anyway, 7:36 in the morning, and among the issues that they're fun to talk about here is Guam Memorial Hospital. Amidst a barrage of criticism lately, there has now been an oversight hearing. And I scanned through the thing this morning because I didn't watch it in real time last night. And I was looking as I was scanning it on YouTube. I was looking, for telltale signs of senators that were getting bothered and hot under the collar with some of their questions and the reports of some of the answers. And I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So there might be more fireworks outside right now, thunder and lightning, than there was over at the legislature last night. Though Dr. Shimabukuro made another presentation at the thing. Dr. Tom Shea was there and countered some of what she was saying, and that conversation spilled over onto Facebook. There was a rollicking debate going on. I want to say on Tom Shea. Tom put up a picture of him in front of his medical records that were complete. And I think his concern was that the guys over at the legislature, Dr. Shimabukuro, was painting everybody with kind of broad brushstrokes. Doctors aren't doing this. And Shea says, well, I'm a doctor. I did this. So I need you to be more specific with your criticisms so that it doesn't land on all of us that are actually doing our jobs. All right. Fair enough. Point taken. Point taken. And then there were others. Dr. Sam Friedman, who was a member of the medical community here on Guam, was also speaking. And I've got his presentation about ready to go, queued up, but I got a bigger name on line one, so I'm going to go to that. But I did want to read to you what his appraisal of GMH was. It's a slide that he had called up. GMHA is dysfunctional on all levels. There is a small group of physicians who control the running of GMHA in regressive ways that are out of date, without any self-appraisal, and who control and push an impotent and ignorant administration to do their will, which is almost always involves money. They are intolerant to change and newer and more efficient methods, and where incompetence is not only tolerated but encouraged or at least ignored. They're very defensive of the status quo and penalize or attack anyone who threatens it. Unfortunately, due to the ancient statutes, many of these same physicians are represented on the Board of Medical Examiners. In the 14 years I have been here, I've seen many an excellent physician who tried in vain to correct the many deficiencies of GMHA and had the temerity to speak out. I've watched them fall prey to this cabal of self-serving physicians. And almost as if that was an invitation, I'd like to welcome Dr. George Makris to the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. Hey, Doc.
Good morning, Ray.
Long time no talk. How the hell you been?
I've been good.
I'm absolutely delighted to hear that. And I'm sure there's any number of different places where we can launch this topic now, aren't there?
Yeah, you wouldn't have enough. You would need 5 shows to cover the material. Ray, Sam Freeman also mentioned me. He was the only one who mentioned me as one of the people who got run off.
Oh, you know, I haven't heard the audio of it. I was just getting it queued up, and I figured, based on the contents of the slide, in the very least, this was going to be an interesting presentation. So yeah, but I'm looking at this stuff. I'm going, hey, these are all the same things that you said when you were at Guam Memorial Hospital back in the Wild West, Bill McMillan, George Macris days.
Well, yes. Now, you know, Bill McMillan was a great guy. He actually was able to come up with a budget that was about 75% of what it was, working budget. But the problem was it would cause a lot of no-show positions to, you know, not be paid, which they were. But that's part of the reason I'm calling is I want listeners to listen very carefully to what the doctors have been saying. And also be aware that the smoke screen and the smoke screen establishment is starting to come into play to try to say they're just the disgruntled employee thing doesn't fly. But what's very important is what happened to me should not happen to another doctor. And this is for Senator Uggan and Senator Rodriguez. What they need to introduce legislation that makes any adverse action against a doctor's privileges or license only a judicial determination. And what that means is only a judge could allow it to happen. Except in the instances of medical records that are delayed, that's not reportable to the Natural Practitioner Data Bank, or imminent threats to health and public safety. Let's say the doctor comes in drunk or on drugs or something. This is different. But what they will do to Dr. Shimabukuro, if I have it right, is do exactly what was reported. They're going to get a bunch of nurses to make something up if they can. Then they're going to get a bunch of doctors who can't work anywhere else, who are employees of Guam, and they will make them fabricate some type of charge against them. And then, of course, this peer review on Guam is much different than peer review in the U.S. They don't keep records. So they can say anything, and there could be two people left in the room who could determine your fate. They will then get the Guam Board of Medical Examiners and the Guam Board of Medical Examiners, almost like the hospital, can remove your privileges or license because they don't like the color of your shirt. I think they need to elevate this to a judicial determination because they have no rules or regulations they need to follow, nor rules of evidence. And this is dangerous.
Yeah.
It makes Guam a dangerous place to practice medicine.
Well, he was talking about Dr. Friedman's testimony, talks about ancient statutes and the Board of Medical Examiners as among the potential threats to doctors that are speaking out. So you're echoing the sentiments that Dr. Friedman illustrated last night.
Well, you're never going to improve things if you don't protect the physicians. As Dr. Landstrom said, there's these at-will, willy-nilly employee contracts. When I was medical director, people would walk in and say, I want this $48,000 a month contract. I said, I can't do it. You have to run it through the process, and they would get mad at me. But the point was, if you don't move immediately to protect her and other physicians who will definitely have their privileges or licenses threatened should they come out using the rubric they use with me. Remember, I was not only trying to clean up GMH, and we were doing it, but I had to, in my capacity as a medical director and as a board member, review the licensing applications of a former lieutenant governor position and a former senator that were just riddled with fraud and misinformation. And that was, that kind of crossed the line and kind of got a tribal response. But right now, they have to look at the law carefully because nobody regulates the board, and the hospital can do what they want. And the doctors who speak out, if they go after them, there's nothing they can do because they already have a kangaroo court in both arenas. And that's a big, big threat to any progressive society. Anyone that speaks out, and I was not getting money from the hospital when I spoke out as an emergency room doctor. After they were able to remove my privileges and then they voided it later, they then went after my license. And then, of course, all the records disappeared of the hearing. So there's nothing you can do. So first thing is protect whistleblowers in a way that's meaningful. Next, start working to fix the problem.
Well, Dennis Rodriguez reportedly wants to build in more protections for the whistleblowers. So does Senator Mike St-Nicholas. I don't know how much they're going to be able to do. As you will recall, and I think as people that were paying attention around that same time, it seemed to me that if there was a department or agency that could become weaponized against you, it was used.
Ray, weaponized, people die. You can debate administrators who deal on road projects.
No, but my point is that we've been through all of this before. What Sam Friedman is saying is no different than what you were saying all those years ago. And in fact, we're hearing the echoes of them playing out in my head right now. But it seems to me that you are going to need to make those changes, as you say. That we've got to change this in statute. We've got to put it in the code and make it so that there's no subjectivity that can be brought in. If a doctor does this, then this happens. If the doctor is not guilty of this, then he should be able to maintain his privileges and work wherever he needs to. There should not be any jeopardizing of their licenses out in the community. But as I said, you watch the dog and pony take place, and all of the theatrics that we have seen, either from the administration or Guam Memorial Hospital. Did you hear they parked a hearse in front of the legislature in an attempt to extort more money out of the senators?
Yeah, they did that with McMillan and I when from Peter John's watch, they left bodies in the morgue for years. This is a playbook. I wish I confused your brain and John Anderson's brain, because you can go back into decades of the same thing happening. But
exactly. But like I said, so if you want to get something done, it's got to get done over at the legislature. But I'm not sure that this bunch has the backbone, and I'm pretty sure the bunch that's coming in isn't going to have the backbone to stand up to what can sometimes be a weaponized administration.
Well, I don't know that it's so much the administration as a cabal of physicians. But it's so easy to have a sham peer review and a kangaroo court at the board level. You can't believe it. And again, the reason I say a judicial determination, because they are not subject to any rules of evidence. They can. When I was there, Peter John came in. I heard from somebody who heard from somebody who heard from somebody who I don't remember that George Macris did bad things. Of course, this was disproven. But for me, I was fortunate that I had an unblemished record, and the phone was ringing for work while this happened. Unfortunately, I was able to get a lot of time in the Navy at the end. And I think Dr. Shimabukuro, she's being driven. She maybe should go off island, because after November 2nd, we don't know what's going to happen. She should leave, but it would be sad. And I think, the legislature is empowered to create enabling legislation to make it that privileges are not impacted, again, except for imminent threat to life and public safety, and for your medical records, without a judge saying that's the way it's got to be.
It's too bad we lost you. It's too bad. Good doc, and you were always up on the issues, and you've had a lot more backbone than a bunch of people have now.
All right, I don't know if you can hear me, Ray.
No, I hear you just fine. I'm just saying it's too bad we lost you. It's too bad you're not on Guam anymore.
Yeah, well, I follow the action, and but I really don't want to see this to happen to any other physician. And like when I work in Hawaii for the medical school, and when they ask me to speak about an issue, I call them up and say, "Well, what do you want me to say? What can I say?" And they say, "What? You have what are you saying? You have freedom to speak. We do not impact what you say. Of course, you're responsible for what you say, but we are not in any way going to script anything for you or tell you what to do." And so you're not going to fix the healthcare problems at both hospitals unless you do this, because, of course, DRMC has similar political tentacles. And it's usually the off-island people that are impacted. You've seen the off-island administrators. As a local guy, you have some degree of protection. But sometimes the talent has to be brought in from off-island. And, you need to make them feel that they can speak up, and just not have their mortgage threatened, their kids threatened, and everything else, because that's what will happen.
Well, that's not just in the hospital. That's everywhere.
Yeah, but It's a little different when you have a license and they learn how they can destroy you and you can impact your jobs everywhere. And this national practitioner data bank issue is very important. I had to fight through it myself, but fortunately, again, it was, I was fortunate because I had nothing, and I'm one of the few doctors who in my entire career have never been named in a lawsuit. But I could work anywhere but Guam, but there, as Dr. Lansom said, there's a lot of people on Guam that can't work anywhere but Guam. And because you have mostly very good doctors who can handle very complex cases because there's no specialist, you also have a disproportionate number of those whose only survival is to be minions of the political process on the island, and who can work nowhere else. You do not need to be insurable to work on Guam. It's one of the only places in the nation. You do not need to be insurable to work at Guam Memorial Hospital.
Oh, how interesting. 10 away from the top of the hour. Doc, it's always fun talking with you.
Thank you.
Next time I'm in Honolulu, I come visit?
No, I'm actually in Saipan, heading to Honolulu in a couple of days.
What are you doing up there?
I like the region. When I go to Guam, there isn't much for me to do, so I come out here, either working or on vacation.
Oh, that's something else. Okay. All right. I've been looking for an excuse to get up to Saipan. Maybe that would be one of them. I'll tell Shelley you say hello.
We talked about the good food here, but this is a very nice hospital, too, which turned itself around. This is another topic. They were subsidized, then became unsubsidized, and are now profitable. But that's another topic for another day. Right now, senators, please protect the physicians who want to speak up. That's what I have to say.
George, I'll see you soon, Doc.
Thank you.
7:51. Actually, I sure do wish it was like lunch today. That would be perfect. He was always good about calling in and making his points known, and they were points that were very unpopular. Not just with the folks behind the power of the hospital, but certainly in the administration of the government of Guam at the time as well. 9 minutes away from the top of the hour, my buddy Ken LG. I saw you making a couple of points. Not too different from some of the points that you've made here on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, and now that the more I hear about this, the more rage I feel. Now, I was fairly neutral. I was just representing what people were telling me, wanted me, speak truth to power kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after listening to the testimony, and then the testimony last night, and now Dr. Macris, I guess his name is.
Yeah.
I am starting to feel a sense of rage that is just unbelievable. So Guam Memorial Hospital is not going to be able to hide in the dark anymore. This is just unbelievable because too many people on Guam depend on Guam Memorial Hospital, and we can't afford to have it run like a political winner-take-all, situation where they get to pluck all the prizes and stuff. And that's why, in my testimony last night, I let the senators know there's a hard deadline as far as the public is concerned. We're not going to sit idly by and watch this turn into another series of hearings where nothing happens.
But that's the impression that I had as I was listening to it. I didn't hear a whole lot of hardball questions from the senators, and the responses all sounded just like the responses that I've heard at every other town hall or round table or oversight hearing that they've had at the legislature since time immemorial.
Yeah, I know. And that's why, it's going to be up to us citizens to take action on
it. So, I mean, here's my prediction. Ken, this is my prediction for today. My prediction for today is there's going to be a press conference, and Peter John and Benita or others are going to line up and say that the things that Dr. Shimabukuro said last night, falsehoods, misrepresentations of facts, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and they'll probably end up saying the same thing about Friedman and his testimony.
And if anything doesn't change very, very quickly, they'll probably be facing a citizen's lawsuit. I mean, I filed a lawsuit against the government of Guam over the sale of the fuel tax. There's nothing stopping me from filing a lawsuit against the governor over the mishandling of Guam Memorial Hospital. It's putting people's lives at risk.
Did you get the
for a class action?
Did you think that there probably should have been a little bit more squawk between because the board had not seen all of the 78 pages of the CMS report?
I was floored. But then again,
I'm sitting there going, why aren't more people concerned about this? I mean, here's a CMS report, and there is a concern that these guys are going to lose their CMS accreditation, their CMS credentials, and they didn't tell the board.
Yeah, and not only that, they didn't even tell the board how they proposed to address it.
Oh, well, we sent already. We didn't tell them and we didn't share it with your oversight chair because we needed to send our corrective action plan out there. And I'm going, wait a second, you put together a corrective action plan without the board?
Yeah. That's the part that just blows my mind, because what's the point in remember, the board of directors is supposed to be the representatives who oversee a government entity for the citizens. You know, they're not representatives of the governor; they're representatives of us.
And so what was the response? I'm sorry, what was Dennis's response? Is that's troublesome.
Yeah, that's troublesome.
What?
Well, let's put it this way: that is more than troublesome, because what it does is it breaches the veil of legal protection. Because you can sue board members if they fail to do their duty, if they act in such a way that puts the public at risk. And not supervising Guam Memorial Hospital, not looking at why the federal government is going to jerk away about 75% of the revenue that Guam Memorial gets, which jeopardizes the health and safety of about 60% of the island that doesn't have private insurance. You know, these are issues that are, you know, could be taken to court, and the board and the governor and Peter John and the management team, they're all liable because they have broken the public trust that they had. They are not acting within normal procedures. Hell, they don't even have any procedures, you know? So, you know, every time people go there, you know, they're taking a huge risk. And the fact that doctors at Guam Memorial aren't required to have insurance, that just blows my mind. That makes the government liable for the actions of the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're looking at what's the proper legal term? Where's Bob Klitsky when you need him most? We're looking at actionable item after actionable item that because they have broken the trust of the public, and now they're actually putting the health of the public at risk through their actions and inactions, which breaks their vulnerability to lawsuit.
And what will happen when they no longer have the credentials from the CMS, and all of a sudden the access to the millions of dollars that CMS, that Medicare and Medicaid does provide to Guam Memorial Hospital dries up, evaporates?
Well, the only thing that protects the administrator and the board from legal actions is due diligence, and they have not done their due diligence.
Yeah, that might be a matter of opinion, Kent. So I tell you what, there's a couple of folks online that have chimed in. I want to give some of their thoughts and play on the radio as well. But I do appreciate you chiming in. I'm glad that you were there last night, and it looks like you and I kind of were watching the same thing, and in a couple of jaw-dropping moments where nothing happened, and I think something should have happened. There should have been thunder from among some of the folks at the top. And I didn't see it, and I'm a little bit disappointed.
Big donors, and it is still campaign season, you know, so they don't want to make too much noise.
I suppose. There's that, too. 7:59. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Have an incredible morning. Drive carefully, which I can hear the windshield wipers going back and forth. Nick says, GMH needs an enema. Shut it down. Do over. And Andre makes an interesting point. See, we're talking about conspiracy theorists. Here's the deal on the CMS report. You control the information, and you control the people. Would you like to see it? Would you like to see the CMS report? I've got copies of it. Well, we put that online, can't we? Let people see it. Just a thought. The radio station is KUSG Gutnya. And I've got the Fox News Live coming up on the other side of that. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post and all of today's real big stories. So don't move a muscle.
Correcting the record. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen saying the Trump administration did not create a policy of separating families at the border.
We will separate those who claim to be a parent and child if we cannot determine a familiar or custodial relationship exists. For example, if there's no documentation to confirm the claimed relationship between an adult and a child.
And she says DHS does not separate families at the border who are seeking asylum. This is a group of Democrats tour a child detention facility in San Diego near the Mexican border.
14 Democratic members of Congress said they visited a facility of boys with some as young as 6. California Congressman Lou Correa disputes the Attorney General's assertion that prosecuting everyone caught crossing the border illegally will serve as a deterrent.
When these kids are growing up in Central America, they're given a choice. Get a certain age, you either join a gang, MS-13 that the president talks about, or you die.
President Trump blames Democrats for children being separated from their families, and Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi said the president's just trying to use children as a bargaining chip in order to get bad immigration policy passed.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. FBI Director Christopher Wray facing hours of questions from lawmakers about last week's Inspector General's report on the Clinton email investigation after it was learned then Director James Comey was insubordinate in his handling of the investigation, and texts between 2 FBI employees were politically charged against President Trump.
We've created a dedicated leak investigation unit inside the Bureau specifically focused to ensure that those investigations have priority.
Wray acknowledged mistakes were made by employees and said the report does not define the agency. On Wall Street, stocks ended the day mixed after recovering from early losses. The Dow lost 103, the Nasdaq added a fraction, the S&P lost 6 points. Fox News, fair and balanced.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter, so all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time isn't wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
After the initial meeting between the president and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the nation's top diplomat says more meetings are planned.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he will likely return to North Korea soon. The secretary, speaking at the Detroit Economic Club, says U.S. officials are working to reach a broader agreement with North Korea following last week's summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un in Singapore. Pompeo says the U.S. would alter the Korean War armistice and offer Kim Jong-un security assurances in exchange for North Korea surrendering its nuclear weapons program. Secretary Pompeo says he also spoke with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov Monday morning, and that Russia and China are fully on board with the U.S. effort to rid Korea of nuclear weapons because, he says, they want to eliminate a nuclear threat in their backyard. At the State Department, Rich Edson, Fox News.
The Supreme Court not taking up 2 gerrymandering cases.
Legislative maps in Maryland and Wisconsin can stand for now. The Supreme Court sending both gerrymandering challenges back to lower courts. In the Wisconsin case, a group of Democrats argue partisan redistricting dilutes their votes. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled those voters cannot sue on a statewide level and must instead challenge district by district. A separate challenge from Maryland Republicans challenging a single single congressional district was also denied. Neither opinion answered broad questions, though, about how far state lawmakers can go in giving one party an advantage with electoral maps. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Bail has been revoked for the promoter of a failed music festival on a Bahamas island, with a judge calling 26-year-old Billy McFarland a flight risk and a nonviolent danger to the community now that he faces new charges. McFarland was imprisoned last week when he was charged in a new fraud case. A prosecutor said it has similarities to the one which led him to plead guilty in March. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point, Half a Day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
The island's fastest growing newspaper is giving you more.
More local news.
More local sports.
More local features.
And more ways to access the news you want to read.
Home delivery.
Digital subscriptions online on postguam.com.
On social media and now on a mobile app. It's your news, your way.
Download the Guam Daily Post app for Android and iOS today.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth. From vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams, we're all concerned with protecting our world's water, but none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan, and here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Dr. Samuel Friedman adding his name to a growing list of physicians critical of the management of Guam Memorial Hospital last night, saying GMH was dysfunctional on all levels and it's being run by a small group of physicians in regressive and out-of-date ways. Friedman testifying during an oversight hearing on GMH called by Health Committee Chair and gubernatorial candidate Senator Dennis Rodriguez. Dr. Friedman said when he came to Guam 14 years ago, GMH was in a mess, and now it's in an even bigger mess, he said. GMH Administrator Peter John Camacho and Chief Financial Officer Benita Manglonia didn't begin testifying until well after 8 o'clock last night, Camacho acknowledging that he has not yet shared the CMS report critical of operations at GMH with his own GMH Board of Directors, a revelation that Senator Rodriguez called very troublesome. Manglonia again underscoring the need for more funding for the hospital, saying report after report and study after study has shown that GMH needs to be funded. Guam police have announced that the death of 15-year-old Tamika Jadine Nauta last weekend has been ruled a homicide. The girl was found dead in her bedroom Saturday morning at her home along Chalancota and Dedido. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola performed an autopsy yesterday, but he declined to discuss the results at the direction of the Guam Attorney General and Guam Police, who asked him to say nothing to the media. Police spent the weekend searching for clues and conducting interviews. Family members said there was a break-in across the street from the home the same morning, and They're trying to figure out if it was related to Nauta's homicide. Anyone with information about the crime is asked to call Guam Police or contact Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. We'll have more news after this.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chili's Rib Fest is back. You can get saucy with their fall-off-the-bone, slow-smoked half-rack of ribs for $10.99. Available in original, roasted garlic, or honey chipotle flavors. Served with home-style fries. Add an additional half-rack of ribs for just $7. Low and slow is the key to more flavor. Chili's Rib Fest for $10.99. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Senator Luis Muñoz has introduced a bill that would allow for limited home cultivation of medicinal marijuana. Bill 302 would amend the existing medicinal marijuana law by requiring the Department of Public Health and Social Services to issue a permit to a patient or patient's caregiver, allowing them to cultivate cannabis if there is no operational dispensary for cannabis. Guam's 4-year-old medicinal marijuana law has yet to be fully implemented, and the senator says it's unfair that patients in need have had to wait so long for cannabis dispensaries to open, and there's no relief for them in sight, she said. In order to be eligible for a home cultivation permit, the applicant must pledge not to divert any of the marijuana to anyone not allowed to possess it. The permit allows the patient or caregiver to have no more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants at any one time. The marijuana also must be grown out of sight indoors or behind a locked gate outdoors and out of sight from the public. The man accused of visa fraud as part of a scheme to recruit female band members from the Philippines to sell drinks to club patrons has been sentenced to 6 months in a federal prison. Jamul Luciano entered a guilty plea last year. He stood before District Court Judge Francis Tidinco Gatewood yesterday for sentencing, and he questioned why he was the only one facing charges. It's very unfair, Your Honor, said Luciano. I feel like I'm being a sacrificial lamb. Luciano was accused of sponsoring Philippine bands to come to Guam in order to use female members of the bands to illegally sell drinks at clubs. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Gotcha. Mostly cloudy this morning, then becoming partly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms. In fact, it's so bad the National Weather Service has issued a thunderstorm advisory, and it is going to be in effect until about 9:30 this morning. Thunderstorms are possible or are occurring within 20 nautical miles of the airport. That's pretty much everybody. Be alert and take precautions as required. Don't be outside if the lightning is going to striking on you, because that's a bad day when something like that happens. As we like to do in the 8 o'clock hour, take a look at the radar and see what Mike is able to glean from what he sees. And from what I see, I think it's going to be a rainy morning.
It's looking like it's going to be a rainy afternoon as well as some of that stuff moves on through. Of course, it weakened a little bit as the sun kind of, you get what they call the diurnal cycle. And tropical showers tend to get a little heavier at nighttime. But then after the heat and the sun starts to stir things up and get some lifting in the atmosphere, you get more showers. That's where we're starting to enter into now. So all of this blobbage got to move throughout the day today. So it could be a fairly rainy afternoon. Looks like the morning drive is a bit rainy across the entire island this morning. So,
but I'm not getting a whole lot of places where it's really slowing down. There's on the approach to 8, 10, and 16 on Route 16. As you're getting closer to that intersection, things are slowing down there. But just regular lines of traffic in most of the place, I would assume, in response to just a lot more cars on the road at a particular time, because everybody is moving just a little bit slower as a result of all of this. The diurnal cycle.
Diurnal.
I had that. I took some preparation, H.
Yeah.
Cleared it right up.
It
Amazing.
Right up.
8:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualify today.
Thanks, Phil. King's Restaurant, serving local lunch favorites every day. Salisbury steak Monday. It's Tuesday, so it's beef steak tomorrow. Wednesday, pork synagogue. Thursday's meatloaf, and everybody raves about Friday's beef tinactac. Or choose pick 2 or the pick 3 combo. It's lunchtime waiting for you at King's.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
The Ray Gibson Show is also brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines. They're shipping the future.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Somebody point Paul and John Bent in the direction of the radio station so they can come by and say hello and let everybody know what they're doing in town. And Lisa, is that you and the kids? I saw motoring on the boat near Two Lovers Point. Very, very nice. 8:16. Hey, you know what? It's time for us to pretend to talk about sports. It's Sports with Blake.
Oh, yeah, this is the good bit.
Yeah. That's my favorite one. This is why these action-packed, fun-filled Sports with Blake Bed.
That's right. You know what it kind of reminds me of, too? It kind of reminds me of the intro to, if you remember, like, Bill Dance and all those fishing shows from the 90s. Remember when they'd be hauling, the boats cruising, they'd be hauling across the water, and they would have that dun-dun-dun, like that really very, exciting, very high energy bed.
It's fishing, man. What can they do?
Yeah, that's true. It's funny, though. As a kid, I was like, wow, these guys are the greatest fishermen in the world, not thinking about editing.
Yep.
I was like, oh, every time they cast, they catch a fish. That's crazy.
Didn't know, right?
No, I didn't know. I was like, why can't I do that?
Yeah, so we'd be watching that, the Angry Tuna shows or whatever. Those are fun shows, but every once in a while you get into this fishing show and there's a guy, I can't remember his name, and so he was one of these guys that like catches the fish and then he kisses it and he puts it back in the water. Mm-hmm. And the guys and the local tour guides, the local fishermen are looking at that guy, go, hey, that's I can feed a family with that. What are you doing? What's the point of catching the fish if you're not gonna eat it? They're not endangered.
They'd catch some trophy bass, too. They would catch some big ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't watch it.
Just let them go. Yeah, you're right. Just crazy.
I didn't watch it on Facebook. Was it Facebook or Twitter? One of the two that I was looking at the other day. And it's a fight. It's a confrontation between an animal rights activist and a fisherman. And it was one of these things where the camera kind of stops short just before it comes to blows because you know it's going to this. What? But anyway, so I would think that music bed would have been perfect for the old Bob Ross painting show. You remember that guy?
Yes. Happy trees. Happy trees.
That guy. Oh, I made a mistake. It's a bird now.
Is he like John Denver and Mr. Rogers, where he has that fake past where he was like, because he's so calm now, or we know him as being so calm that he was like some kind of like Vietnam sniper who like had like 1,000. That was the whole thing about Mr. Rogers.
It was a lerp,
Go
kill Charlie all day.
The urban legend about Mr. Rogers was that he always wore long sleeves and cardigans because he had tattoo sleeves on both arms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was some kind of high kill number sniper in Vietnam, something like 500 kills or something. He's like one of the most prolific. That's what I mean, obviously it's not true. And
like that Rodriguez story we were talking about, where the guy, he was on stage and he killed himself by lighting himself on fire, and as it turns out, he was alive the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also one where, there's all kinds of stuff like that. It turns out being fake.
Is there anything like sports today?
There is. Let's see here. We have the Oceania.
Because I don't have any.
The Oceania Swimming Championships are going to kick off here in just a few days, on June 25th to be exact, over in Papua New Guinea. And looks like we have got a few swimmers that are going over there. Team Guam's going to be headed over there. It looks like we've got Mark Imazu, who is the youngest on the squad at 14. And we've got Maneri Gomez is also heading over there. Tanner Poppy and Santiago Poppy. So, let's see here. Jagger Stevens, who we know as, I believe he swam in the Olympics in Rio with, with all the other swimmers, Pilar and Schulte and all those guys. So he's actually going to be, Jagger Stevens is going to be joining Guam just before they part to Papua New Guinea. And he's a collegiate swimmer currently, so he's got to make his way here from the States.
Okay, so this is my takeaway, because I've seen pictures of all these guys. Awesome tans.
Awesome tans, yeah.
It's a great tan you got there.
And you know what? They're all very lean. Like you can see, you can see the definition in the arms. They're very, very, very lean. That's the thing about swimmers, surfers, runners. It's the, not so much bulk, because the sport.
I have no bulk.
It would hinder you in the sports, but they're very, very lean and cut and trim.
Yeah.
So it's cardio, I think, is
I've
the
got these.
key.
I've got these shorts that I like to wear. Nobody else likes it when I wear these shorts.
Split tails.
Yeah, the splits. I love those shorts.
Yeah, lean is not a word that's used to describe me these days.
but it could. You want to go running?
I might start. This sciatica thing's really bugging me, and I'm one of those people that believes the way to work through injury is to work it.
Yes,
I don't believe in like resting an injury. I mean, look, if you tear an ACL, you got to give it a break.
Right.
But as soon as you can, get out there and start working it. And this sciatica thing's just
we're just taking it to Guam Memorial Hospital. Nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll remove my tonsils. Or maybe other things that I don't want removed.
You gotta have somebody put it down in a Sharpie, right? The operation is here. It's on this leg.
Can they read over there?
Not that leg. You got to make sure that
draw it yourself. Draw the diagram. The incision goes here, guys. Cut here. Here's the dotted line. Be sure you follow this. Now I'm gonna go to sleep.
Nah, just messing around here. Not really. But anyway, so what else you got? We got the swimming thing going on.
I got the swimming thing, and actually, anything else I got is we got some. I think I did the story just ahead of the World Cup, but I've seen pictures as we sent 2 people over to the World Cup as the ambassador, two young boys to go watch the World Cup in Moscow. And according to some of the pictures that are floating around online, they are having a blast of a time over there. And looks like they've been taking pictures with the mascot and all kinds of good stuff. So got a couple Guamanians on the ground in Moscow watching the World Cup.
All right. So it's Mexico over Germany 1-0. Sweden beat South Korea 1-0. I got England over Tunisia 2-1. Oh my God, they scored 2 points.
That was very controversial too. And the English fandom was still, even though they won, they were still very upset because I guess there was some kind of controversial call in the game there towards the end. Now they ended up winning, but those Brits, they're still not happy with the win.
Earthquake in Mexico.
I got that one too.
in Osaka, Japan yesterday.
Yeah, but the earthquake in Mexico, the one he's talking about, was caused because the fans were celebrating the World Cup win.
Shook the ground hard enough to set off earthquake detectors.
Well, that's like what they did in Seattle a couple of years back.
Yeah, so it was a small earthquake. Nothing like it didn't really register, I don't get very, very high at all. But because of Mexico winning in the World Cup, the fans got so rowdy, and they started jumping up and down and caused a little seismic activity over there in District Federal. The capital city of Mexico, by the way.
All right, so Brazil and Switzerland got a tie, 1 apiece, and Belgium over Panama. 3 points to 0.
3-0.
Can you imagine what an exciting game that must have been?
Who over Panama?
Belgium.
Over Panama.
That's what it says.
Man,
Group G, match day, 1 of 3. Belgium and Panama, they met, and Belgium wins 3-0. And the next big game is going to be Colombia versus Japan.
That's we talked about that one yesterday. That one happens tonight, I think, right? Where Colombia and Japan kicking off. That should be a pretty good game. They seem pretty evenly matched. But for me, I was hoping that Panama was going to do better.
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
I am fast asleep by 10 o'clock.
You know what? Me too. But the crazy thing is, it was a lot easier. I feel like when the last time we had it was in Brazil, right? 4 years ago. It was a lot easier to watch games then because of the time difference. The time difference in Russia puts all the games overnight, midnight for us.
Yep.
So very, very just tough.
Those communists.
And I have this too on the national scene only because this is just kind of unheard of. So the Washington Capitals, they won won their first ever Stanley Cup just 11 days ago. And after doing so, their coach, who led them to the promised land, he just resigned. He's like, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, there you go. I'm good. He still had 2 more years on his contract, and he was like, I'm good. So he stepped down. So
finish while you're on top.
That's what I'm saying. Just like Seinfeld. So a little panic over in Washington D.C.
No, I'm not that guy. The fun here is trying to figure out how to stay on top. You hustle your butt to get on top. You stay on top of that ladder as long as you can. And if there's people coming up, if there's people on the second run, you kick them right back down. You just get back down to the basement. This is mine. I got this. I don't need you up here. I don't need the company at number one. The only company I need is my team. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Right? So that's it. What have we got here? A couple of stories that I thought were interesting. How to get drunk faster. And a story conducted by Stanford University. So this is important. And you're right. There's a couple of ways that we used to do this. I remember, and I hope he doesn't get mad that I'm saying his name, Ernie and I, what we used to do was we'd go give blood at the hospital, right? And so that, the first thing they tell you is don't drink anything for a couple hours. So what do? Let's go drink. Let's go. Come on. Shoot them up, buddy. So we'd time it. So we got out there about 9 from the blood bank.
Oh, man. Was your blood thinner?
What time does Captain's open? That's all we wanted to know. Whatever, they're opening for us. So there's that's one way to do it, and you're right. The other one is on an empty stomach. But apparently, the guys over at Stanford are saying if you'd like to get drunk faster, lose weight. People who undergo gastric bypass surgery get drunk quicker and take longer to get sober. And the study found that the procedure, which is increasingly common in the fight against obesity, heightened the effects of alcohol.
It makes sense. There's less of you.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not a whole lot of places for whatever the alcohol to go and get metabolized.
Back in the college days, I had to make a choice, to either drink and feel it or to eat. And so what I would do is
thinking of other choices that college guys make.
I would.
I don't know how to quit you.
If I had enough money to either eat or go drinking, I would usually go drinking and not eat, just so that way I could feel it faster, and not because no point in eating a little snack and drinking, because then you just basically might as well not order one of the beers.
And so we can have this conversation, because we're adults and this is talk radio and the kids aren't listening. But even if they were, I think that they recognize that none of us are trying to be good, positive role models as much as we want to be horrible warnings for everybody. It's just, kids, if you don't want your life to turn out like this, any advice that we give you on the radio is just don't take it.
So you're saying you're like the Charles Barkley of talk radio. I ain't no role model.
Yeah, kids, if you want to feel good when you wake up in the morning, don't drink the
By
night
the way,
before.
that was a nice sports reference.
It was a great sports reference.
I think so.
I got one more thing.
You have any celebrity worship that we ought to be talking about? You're talking about a rapper that got shot. Imagine that.
A very unknown guy. He was more known for causing controversy, but a guy named XXXTentacion was his name. He was from Miami. And I just saw an hour ago, he got shot in a parked car. And the thing is, it was kind of an interesting tidbit of the story. He was test driving cars, so he got shot in a car that, is still for sale. He got shot in a car he was test driving.
No, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So if you're the dealer,
yeah, it's a Lamborghini, I think. Or Ferrari,
we've just doubled the price.
Right. Which double the price on that. It's $400,000 now instead of $200,000.
Yeah, and we're not going to take the blood out either. We're going to leave the blood in there, and you get to be able to say, here's the Lamborghini that a promising young rap star was driving when he got offed.
When it ended. I watch Pawn Stars sometimes. I watch mostly American Pickers on the History Channel, but I cruise Pawn Stars every once in a while. And I think a couple months ago they had the Mercedes that Tupac was shot in. And I think they tried to buy it for something like $200,000, and it was 96 used Mercedes that somebody was killed in, and somebody still paid $250,000 for it.
That's an interesting show. I like those shows for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but the show that I can watch for hours, and we should probably figure out a way that we can binge this is Antique Roadshow.
That's a good one.
Antique Roadshow rocks.
That is a good one.
Because, people come up with things that look like just junk. And the guy says, oh, yeah, that might be worth about $25,000. How much did you get it for? I got it at a yard sale for $350.
And you know what's crazy? It's always the big ornate Fabergé eggs you think are going to be worth anything. They're worth like 3 cents. And then like the piece of rusted shrapnel, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is worth $1 million.
Yeah, well, see, back in the Civil War at the battle at Nantucket here, we had a lady that was actually carrying the bucket. This is the bucket that she was carrying. It's one of my favorite old limericks. So that's there.
It'd have holes in it if it was GMH's bucket. just saying.
Well, got to hammer them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the time to be hammered.
I heard things.
All right. Well, I'm being pushed along in the program. I guess it's already the bottom of the hour, so I'm gonna let you go. We'll say there's a couple of other stories in here about a database. If you're into genealogy, that you might want to check out. There's a database that you can go to that will let you know if you might be a descendant of the people that got to America on the Mayflower.
Oh wow! The Pilgrims.
Which some people are saying, hey, how about that? You get to find out if you were in line with the same people that brought disease and intolerance to the American continent.
People can call you colonizer, and actually ring true.
It's true, yeah. 8:30 in the morning. Listen, I'm going to let you run. That's my buddy Blake Watson. He's going to go finish up the morning show on Star 101. We've got some work to do around here. After the break, I got Kevin Kerrigan with news from the Guam Daily Post, brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style.
Offering state-of-the-art MRI, full-field digital mammograms, full digital X-rays, and 4D ultrasounds. FHP Health Center provides comprehensive diagnostic medical imaging with the convenience and access our patients deserve. Our highly specialized board-certified radiologist ensures high-quality, patient-focused care with every visit. Call the FHP Health Center at 646-5825 and press 2 to schedule your appointment today. Most insurance is accepted, including Netcare, Aetna, and TRICARE.
Yeah, my buddy Brad Hewitt on the Facebook Live says you can tell you're getting old if you're talking about Antique Roadshow.
Oh yeah, I used to love to watch that on PBS.
Yes.
Man, that was the precursor to these other trading shows.
Yeah, personally, not worried about the appearance of getting old here. So I'm in the talk radio game. You don't want to be listening to talk radio from a kid, do you?
Well, I don't know. I just got a request for Cardi B. She must have been like 7-year-old. I don't even know.
At the bottom of the hour and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Kevin Kerrigan, brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Daily Post this morning. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is asking Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood of the District Court to extend the receivership over Guam solid waste collection and disposal services beyond the end of this month. The request was made in the U.S. EPA's readiness report filed on Friday in district court. U.S. EPA does not suggest a new date, leaving it up to the court to decide how much longer the receivership should last. The U.S. EPA report is one of 4 readiness reports the judge ordered as she weighs whether the Guam Solid Waste Authority will be ready to take over on June 30th, the date on which the 10-year receivership is scheduled to end. Each of the reports filed with the court notes that there is still work to be done that won't be finished until after June 30th. Former Senator Bob Klitsky has sent a petition to the Guam Department of Education calling on DOE Superintendent John Fernandez to stop paying David Cruz's salary. Cruz is the lieutenant gubernatorial partner of Senator Dennis Rodriguez, who is running for governor. Klitsky's petition argues that it's illegal for Cruz to be employed by Guam DOE while he is campaigning for public office. Cruz is a junior reserve officer training corps instructor at JFK High School. Prior to becoming a candidate, Cruz's employment status with DOE was converted from a full-time employee to a contractor who's paid under a professional service agreement. The Attorney General has already approved the legality of the Cruz agreement. Klitsky, however, contends Cruz remains a full-time Guam DOE employee. 45 firefighter candidates have begun the Guam Fire Department's 6-month training cycle. The new training academy was delayed because a third of the selectees were on military duty and couldn't be processed. Deputy Fire Chief Joey San Nicolas says the 45 candidates selected for the academy were vetted by the Department of Administration, passed a written and physical agility test, and then were chosen based on the interview board's scoring criteria. The deputy chief also confirmed that the academy includes immediate family members and close relatives of current and former firefighters. However, San Nicolas adds that quite a few applicants who were not selected were also immediate family members of current or former firefighters. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thanks so much, Kevin Kerrigan. It's 8:34. That's headlines. Furniture Kathy Style sponsors that. Guam's newest furniture store is now open. A fabulous selection of furniture and super hot deals every day. Stylish and comfortable domino sofas. But wait, they're reclining sofas. They recline. I love America. What a country. Reclining. So, and it's got a matching love seat, too. This would sell anywhere else, a couple of $1,000s, right? $1,500 for one, $500 for the other. At Furniture Kathy Style, $999. You know, at that price, you can put one of these in every room in the house, including the bathroom. Style you can afford at Furniture Kathy Style, located in Agana.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
A secret that nobody should ignore. It's the one that has propelled most of the success stories of history. I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, information that can save you years' worth of time, stacks of money, and can set you off on a journey to wealth, adventure, and immense personal satisfaction.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point by Jerry Roberts at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts on The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
You know, anywhere else, and they'd waste 3 minutes telling you that there's no traffic. We're not like that around here. There hasn't been a whole lot of string of traffic this morning, and there isn't really one going on right now. If you see something, accident or a speed trap or something like that, 888-8255. But that's all I'm going to tell you about traffic here. We keep it short. That's the way I like it, and I know that's the way you like it. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
Seventh inning stretch. Well, not quite. It's only 8:36. Still about an hour and a half left in the program. 888-8255. That's 888-8255. 888-TALK. If it's easier for you to remember it that way. And you call that number, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Personally, I think I've gotten to a point where I've what's the word I'm looking for? I think I've wrung out the conversation about Guam Memorial Hospital. I think I'm finished with GMH. I'm through with those guys. Not quite the point that I want to make. It's just that between hearing what they had said and the allegations they're made in both directions, you know, I just get this feeling like we are setting ourselves up for another opportunity not to do anything.
GMH,
yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I know, and so, you know, Kenley and Guerrero keeps talking about hand this over to a receiver, and I think about that, and I'd like it to be, and I know I've mentioned this before in other streams of consciousness about Guam Memorial Hospital, and frankly other places in the government, where I think it might actually be a good idea for us to actually get in front of it. You know, don't wait for a judge to say, you know what, we're going to appoint a receiver. Is just put together some really, really smart guys and give them access to some money. First access to money will be, here's the keys to the hospital. You can keep every dollar that you save. And use that any way you see fit. So that's number one. Let's see if there's ways that we can affect savings in the government and turn those into dollars that we can spend on health care. And then the other one is talk about, you know, of serious subsidizing from the legislature and actual monies that the legislature appropriates that actually get given to the hospital.
Yeah, I think in cases of the past, like with the dump, you had to kind of go through the federal government of receivership because it was a public health issue in terms of like spreading disease and all this kind of stuff. That, I think we need to skip that step.
I think they ginned up the whole thing to get to wrest control of it away from the government. They were talking about leakage from the dump into the rivers that went out to the streams that went out finally to the ocean. And there are some that believe that in and of itself was, while it was bad, it wasn't sufficient to have appointed a receiver. There were a million other reasons why, but that was it's like Capone and taxes, right? That's what they got us on.
Yeah.
But there was certainly other places that they could have gotten us on, but we'd always managed to talk our way out of. So what's interesting on that one though is, and current headlines is, we will know by the 30th of this month whether or not the lady over at the court is going to allow for the local Guam Solid Waste Authority to take over operations from Gerstner, Brickner, and Bratton, the GBB, who are the receivers. And it's beginning to look less and less and less like that's a possibility. And as a consumer of the trash business here on Guam, as an observer and as a talk show host, let me just say, yeah, let's keep it out of local hands as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get our hands back on this thing, and it's going to get absolutely ruined in no time whatsoever.
Yeah, I
And
think,
everybody
the
agrees with that.
receivership, it resembles privatization. They just should sell the hospital to a private company, and they'll run it right. I mean, that's it.
Nah, people will always fall back on the organic responsibility for us to have a hospital.
Well, that's okay. I mean, but you just have a private company running it so that it's actually solvent and it actually serves the purpose it's supposed to, instead of all of this political stuff that's going on.
Yeah, but the first time, and I hate to but there's plenty of buts here in the conversation. Yeah, but the first time they go after Tun Maria or Tun Jose, mom and dad, and go after their property, so that we can pay the bills, then there's going to be political hell to pay, and there's not one guy not one or two guys over at the legislature that can handle that kind of political pressure. 8:40 in the morning, 888-8255, and do me a favor, turn up the Avra. I want to hear if is there anything playing on the Avra right now. Mikey. Hey. Is there headphones? Is there anything playing on the Avra right now? He's talking to somebody. Hold on. Yeah, is there anything playing on the Avra? Because I wanted to see if I could get. Okay, so what you're about to hear is testimony provided by Dr. Sam Friedman at the legislature last night. I can't be completely wrung out of the issue, because I actually did want to play this earlier. So let me see if I've got it queued up to the right spot.
GMHA. I think GMHA is dysfunctional.
Where'd it go?
There's a small group of doctors who control running of GMHA in a regressive way that's out of date, without any self-appraisal, and who control and push an impotent and ignorant administration to do their will, which almost always includes money. They are intolerant to change, newer and more effective methods, and where incompetence is tolerated and ignored, they are very defensive of the status quo and penalize or attack anyone who threatens it. Unfortunately, due to ancient statutes, many of the same doctors are represented on the Board of Medical Examiners, which makes them a very powerful person in the medical community, and certainly able to come down on doctors who try to threaten their status. In the 14 years or so since I've been here, I've seen many an excellent doctor who has come here and tried in vain to correct the system and had the temerity to actually speak up. They've been driven off Guam, basically. And true to form, Dr. Shimabukuro, after she testified on June 11th, was notified by the current chief of staff that they're going to try and lift her clinical privileges as well. I don't know if you know what it means to have your clinical privileges lifted, but you go onto the National Data Bank, and every time you apply for a job, that National Data Bank comes up and it says you've been stripped of your privileges because of whatever the hospital says you've done. So basically, it's kind of a kangaroo court. You have no ability to counter what's on your national record. And a hospital like this can easily do it, and has done it before. And unfortunately, has done it for political reasons, Dr. Makritz being one, but they also are supposed to report any malpractice suits, which I understand is not being done. And there's been enough of those with some of the doctors here who work for GMH, by the way. Now, a few rhetorical questions about some of the dealings of GMHA to outline some of the dysfunction that I've seen. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, this is the one. First, how had the OR director been appointed? Was there any advertisement or competitive assessment? As you well know now, this function was cited by the CMS as being an unsatisfactory performance. Why were world medical authorities refused privileges to help with specific patients' care for short, independent procedures, although this is both in the Guam and GMHA statute bylaws? Why were no incident reports ever filed so that there would be review of deficient or dangerous actions and subsequent education to avoid these errors? This was also noted by JCO, by the way. I tried to file numerous incident reports, not one ever made it into the file. Why is there no morbidity and mortality conferences to review all unexpected outcomes or deaths to see if there is any deadly or dangerous actions by staff? This is a standard in every single hospital, Western hospital in the world, and noted as a deficiency by the CMS review. Mistakes are thus hidden.
That's scary stuff. Well, it's scary stuff. People die, and there's supposed to be a get-together with everybody and figure out if there was a better way to do things, if there was a way to avoid that particular outcome, and they don't do it here. The CMS report that I've got my hands on is starts off with some actually very damning material in their conversations that they've had, and all point to issues, and they lay the blame at the governing body. The governing body failed here. The governing body failed there to ensure that the hospital had a discharge planning program that applied to all patients. The governing body failed to ensure the hospital was arranged and maintained to ensure the safety of the patient. Additionally, the governing body failed to ensure the maintenance of the facilities and equipment in a manner to provide for the diagnoses and treatment of patients receiving services. So I don't know how some of these things are going to get corrected in the short amount of time between now and, what is it, October? That the CMS has laid down as a deadline to get things squared away over at Guam Memorial Hospital. Maybe it is time to have that conversation about a state of emergency at GMH and finding a way to give the power immediately to the governor to be able to move monies around, maybe borrow monies in order to take care of things at GMH. But the problem that we're going to have here, I can kind of see it happening, is that you know, I keep voting for different people, but the government keeps getting elected. You know that problem that you have where, there's, 15 new people over at the legislature, but for some reason things still don't change. Why is that? And it's because of the people that keep getting appointed and keep getting some of these jobs. So it'll be interesting to watch and see what happens. The next shoe to drop, excuse me, at the legislature is the investigation of the Guam Memorial Hospital and the many things that we are learning about it. I think Dennis now finally has all of the people that he needs. He was looking for 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats to join him in the investigation at Guam Memorial Hospital. So, and I forget, I'll find out, but there's supposed to be at some point a date on a calendar that these guys are going to start looking at so that they can conduct whatever the investigation is, see whatever findings they come up with, and determine if there's enough there to support some kind of criminal case, some kind of criminal activity at the legislature. I don't know. Lady D says, dump the political appointees and assistants and deputy whatevers. And Nick is asking, then where would the governor send his slackers to if we didn't have a GMH? Is there still that conversation? See, this is and Rick, if you're still online, Rick is the guy that about an hour ago said I put too much into conspiracy theories. Sorry, buddy. It just is. Maybe there is more to some of these things. 888-8255 is the telephone number here on the radio station, and we'll see what we can scare up by way of getting people on the record to talk about some of these things. Lulian Guerrero, in the platform presentation that was made yesterday of which I don't have a copy of. I probably should have gone by there and see if they had out any handouts. But as I said, I'm lazy. What was I doing yesterday? Napping. I took a nap yesterday. That's why instead of being at the Lou and Josh unveiling of their platform, I was taking a nap because I figured I'd need to be fresh for something. I do ask you, though, because in that presentation, she said, trying to make it a direct quote, but she says that the level of trust in the government of Guam is the worst it's ever been, the lowest it's ever been. And so I ask you to rate your level of trust in the government of Guam. And currently, the number one answer with 100% of the votes is 0. I have 0 trust in the government of Guam. There are other choices. We have large trust, super huge. And it says, I work at Adelup, so my trust level is super huge. Only a little trust or medium trust. So, I mean, is it everything? Do you not trust everything? It's a conversation about... what is it, the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, and everybody's worried that J.I. is using public funds to support the research for his doctoral, and then there's all of this stuff over at GMH. Is that what it is? Are there not places in the government of Guam where you put your trust? Disclosure time. I have a sister that works at GITA, so yeah, I like GITA. How about the Guam Department of Education? Are we okay with maybe before you didn't like the Department of Education, but now with the tinkering that John Fernandez has done, and his seeming 360-degree view of what needs to happen at Guam Memorial Hospital or at the Department of Education, did I just accidentally stumble on a solution to our problems? All right. Run this through your head. Just run this through the filter, and just let me know. It's a good idea, bad idea. John Fernandez running Guam Memorial Hospital. Anything? No. The guy. What do you think? John Fernandez? Wouldn't it be John Fernandez and Mark Mandiola? Because I think those guys work really well together in the Department of Education. Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's the salvation for Guam Memorial Hospitals. We're going to get a couple of guys in there that understand the system, that know enough. And Mark knows a lot about money making because he did the endowment work over at the university. So he could put together some kind of Guam Memorial Hospital endowment thing, and just go out there and just beat the bushes and browbeat the moneyed folks in this community until we had plenty of dough going to GMH to support some of the other activities that take place there. And then you get John Fernandez, who, near as I can tell, is a decent administrator. People seem to like him, and if he makes the same connection. And John makes the same kind of connections at Guam Memorial Hospital as he has with the stakeholders at the Department of Education. I'm just saying, we could do worse, right? Ponder that for a second. 851. A few of the other stories that are floating around that I think I'm interested in. Senator Bob Klitsky warpathing on David Cruz. I've got a copy of the petition that he sent to John. Speaking of John Fernandez, I'll see if I can take it apart piece by piece in the next hour of the program. And then there's the idea that there is now a felony tax conviction. I don't know if you saw this in the Guam Daily Post. It's a good story. Tax evader sentenced to 33 months. What is it, 2.5 years? That's a while, isn't it? That's a while in the lockup. Civil engineer has been sentenced to 33 months in federal prison in what the Attorney General's office believed to be the first felony tax conviction on Guam. And I'm here to tell you, it probably won't be the last. So don't let this happen to you. If you owe taxes to the government of Guam, there is a tax amnesty that has been in place for about a month. You can go to the Department of Revenue and Taxation. In fact, you can download, if you go to their website, you can download the application for, what do they call, amnesty. And the idea being that maybe you ran into a hard time, maybe you were going through a rough patch, maybe you forgot, or maybe there was criminal intent. Maybe you just didn't want to pay the taxes. Screw those guys, right? And now you've changed your mind because somebody is going to jail for a couple of Christmases. Away from the family, away from friends. Can't drink beer. Won't let you smoke. Won't let you have an iPhone. So maybe if you don't want to find yourself in that position, what you do is you download that application for amnesty, come up with 10%, and then try like hell over the next couple of months to find the scratch to pay off what you do owe the government of Guam. And then you don't go to jail. You don't have to pay the penalties. You don't have to pay any of the interest. So it is the best possible deal. But as Kevin Kerrigan said earlier this morning, you got today to do it. So make it happen. There's another interesting case where somebody's gotten sentenced and he's very unhappy about it. Please, I don't want to go to jail. Near the end of his sentencing, Jemuel Luciano also asked if he could be afforded protection, noting that he had been in the prison system and it was, quote, harsh. It's spooky, isn't it? Can I just tell you, just as a human being, just as an alert human being that tries to pay attention to the things, when I was maybe 19, I saw a show on television called Scared Straight. And I'm here to tell you, it worked. It worked. I got it. There's a little bit of kabuki in here with some guys, maybe not the same color skin as me, maybe had a harder time growing up than me, not as many privileges or whatever you want to do, but they were in jail. And they were being very mean to some of the other people, the younger people that, mouth off to their parents or get in fights or kiss boys or whatever it is that they were in trouble for. And so there was screaming and yelling and curse words. And I remember that having an impact on me as a young man, thinking, yeah, there's nothing cool about this. There's nothing that I want to have anything to do with these people. So I will do my best to stay on the straight and narrow and not get in enough trouble where somebody in a black robe would bang down on a gavel and send me to a prison system that was harsh. Huh. Where do you get to go for something like this, though? He's in trouble on a visa fraud. I don't know if you heard about this guy. He had been bringing in like a promoter, right? So he'd bring in these bands from the Philippines, and naturally they'd be bands with attractive women in it, young, hot, starlet style Pinay girls, and that's okay. That's not illegal. You can do that. As long as you get the right check marks on the forms, you can bring people in so that they can perform in your nightclub and sing a couple of songs. But what he was doing wrong was that he said he was bringing them in to perform, and in addition to the performing, he had them greeting customers. And I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to get you a cold beer. And listen, I'd really like a drink, and they're $20. Buy me drinky scams. And for $20, I'll sit down with you and hold your hand, and we'll be nice. We'll be buddies. We'll be friends. And apparently, the combination of the two is illegal. You can still do buy me drinky. I could still, if Mike wanted to sit down with me, and I'd say, Michael, if you want to sit down with me, you have to buy me iced tea. It's $20.
Man, you're cheap.
But I'd bat my eyebrows.
That's nice.
I'd bat my eyelashes. It's $120 eyelashes. I want you to know.
It's very nice. You should get them a little darker next time.
I'm thinking. So apparently the buy me drinky thing is legal. You can do that. It's just you can't do that. But tell the people at customs that the reason why they're here and in immigrations, you can't tell the people there that the reason why they're here is because they're just performers. They're rock stars from Manila. Yeah. That's why the guy got in trouble, and that's why he's going to go to a harsh prison environment. So stay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
On the straight and narrow. Go to school. Eat your vegetables. Study hard. Say your prayers before you go to sleep at night. And last thing before I'm all done here, the Guam Department of Education, John Fernandez, again, looking at Brody School for a new central middle school. I'm going to resist the temptation to use Brody as an adjective instead of the noun that it is.
Oh, so you don't want to say we're about to get Brodied.
So I don't want to say that it was used as a slur, because I never want to say that I had grown up with people that would use it as any kind of a slur to individuals with children with mental issues. But that's if you said or did something dumb, we'd go, "You Brody."
Nice.
So
that's what that means.
That's what that means. If somebody says you're Brody, that was the local.
I heard that 3 times on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the local version of. I don't even want to say it's the local version of, so I'm not going to. But it's just difficult at my age. My experiences, having been called Brody in the past, to avoid that particular part of the conversation. That's the problem. I'm 56 years old, but I identify as about 11, and so that's where we have an issue here. More on the way as the Ray Gibson Show continues. The radio station is The Point, KUSG, Hagutnya. Fox News is coming up next on the other side of that. Kevin Kerrigan with headlines. No, he's gone to do his real job, so it's just you and I goofing off for another hour of incredible talk right here.
Policy. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. After several reports of immigrant parents being separated from their children at the border, a head of Homeland Security clarifies procedure. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Secretary Christian Nielsen says there are guidelines to separating kids from adults at the border in cases of trafficking or lack of documentation. She added the outcry from opponents is misplaced and that the policy is not a problem for the president to fix.
This is a very serious issue that has resulted after years and years of Congress not taking action.
There is opposition on both sides. Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn of Texas said in a statement the hardship of separation should end, and he'll reintroduce legislation to make it easier to keep families together, Lisa.
Gernal, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi calling on President Trump to end the zero-tolerance policy.
We will be persisting in getting the information that we need to make sure the American people understand that their values are on the line.
Pelosi and other Democrats visited detention centers at the border today, days after the Inspector General's report outlining the findings of the Clinton email investigation. The IG and head of the FBI answering questions in front of a Senate panel.
Political bias did not drive the outcome of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. But the Justice Department's Inspector General Michael Horowitz says former FBI Director James Comey did depart from norms when he publicly recommended the Democratic presidential nominee not be prosecuted.
His July 5th statement included inappropriate commentary about uncharged conduct, announced his views on what a quote-unquote reasonable prosecutor would do.
Horowitz also tells the Senate Judiciary Committee that Comey's handling of memos he wrote after meetings with President Trump are also now being investigated.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Splash into summer savings and take advantage of our amazing deals on the best Samsung smartphones. Get the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus for only $149, the S9 for only $99, or the Galaxy Note 8 for only $99 as well. But these amazing deals won't last long. Come into a GTA store today to save big. Conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for details. Offer ends June 30th. GTA, your island, your network.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
President Trump revisiting a promise he made a few months ago to create a new military branch for space exploration.
President Trump, during remarks at the White House, revealed he's ordered the Defense Department to create a new branch of the United States military, one that would operate off of planet Earth.
We are going to have the Air Force, and we are going to have the Space Force.
Though the White House has yet to reveal exactly what a militarized Space Force would do, but the president is also setting an aggressive timetable for a return to the moon and eventual Mars mission. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The unusual-looking animal that was shot last month in central Montana was a gray wolf. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks officials initially weren't sure what the animal was when it was shot by a rancher. Another day of World Cup opening matches in the books in Russia.
After 5 straight matches without a win in the World Cup, late heroics from England's captain gets them the W.
Trippier. And what a chance for Harry Kane, which he takes!
Audio courtesy of Fox Sports. Harry Kane with the header for his second goal of the match, coming in stoppage time as England gets their first World Cup win since 2010, a 2-1 victory over Tunisia in Group G play. Belgium also victorious Monday in Group G. Romelu Lukaku scoring twice as the Belgians blank Panama 3-0. And over in Group F, an Andreas Granqvist penalty kick in the 65th minute is the difference maker. Sweden defeats South Korea 1-0. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
A private jet once owned by Elvis Presley that has sat on a runway in New Mexico for nearly 4 decades is back on the auction block. The online auction site Iron Planet has announced the plane returned to the market after its current owner bought it last year for $430,000. A previous auction house says Elvis designed the interior. It has gold-tone woodwork, red velvet seats, and red shag carpet. But the red 1962 Lockheed Jetstar has no engine. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth. From vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams, we're all concerned with protecting our world's water. But none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com. So what, I got to talk now? I got to talk again? Short talk, long talk. Short. Kings. Short. It's lunch at King's. Actually, it's breakfast at King's now. Or it's lunch at King's. You know, you can get breakfast anytime you want to at King's. You can get lunch anytime you want to. You can get fried chicken for breakfast if you want at King's. That's the cool thing. But just so you know, there are specials and things that they have at King's. Today is Tuesday, so it's Bistake tomorrow,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what they've got today. You can also try the Pick 2 or Pick 3 packages. Lunch at King's. You don't have to think about it. Just go and enjoy.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
I can't take the pressure. I mean, morning talk that matters. Hey, look, I'm just, I don't even give myself credit for being a journalist. I write things down. That's as close to being a journalist as I can get. I am a consumer of news. For maybe every once in a while, I should probably talk about this. This is my role here at the radio station. I consume news from as many different sources as possible. I've got Kevin Kerrigan, for better than half of the morning, does news from the Guam Daily Post. So that's one place where I gather news. I have a subscription to the PDN, so I get news from there. We looked at the online scripts on KUAM and the Pacific News Center, so I read that. Plus whatever. You know what else? I've got this. I've got an alert that comes on my email. So whenever the word Guam is used in a headline, I get notified of it. And as you might imagine, I mean, it happens a lot with local publications and local news. But every once in a while, I'll pick up a story that mentions Guam from someplace where I've never heard of. And I love those opportunities to see what people are writing about when it comes to Guam. So I put all of that stuff together, and then I try to formulate some kind of an opinion or a position on some of what I read, some of the news that I read. And it's nice to get it from a variety of sources, so it's not always the same presentation, right? It's different interpretations of what the facts are. So that's cool. That's what I do here. So when we start talking about talk that matters, it essentially matters to me initially, and then I hope it matters to you. And based on ratings and revenue for the radio station, it seems to. It seems to. Now, prior to doing the show and coming on board and doing this, I was kind of the position, because of what you told me, that there are a couple of issues that you are not all that interested in it. It amazes you that the media continues to maintain such a high level of interest in it. One of them is the pedophile priest story. And so I generally don't talk about that. I didn't talk about it when it was new. I didn't talk about it the last time I was on the radio. I just thought it was a creepy story, and that's not how I want to start my day. And they say, well, do you have an opinion on it? Yeah. And it is an opinion that some of these guys had no business being around children. That's the opinion. And then there's another one. Medicinal marijuana is an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic for me, but I think when it is ad nauseum, then you've got a problem with it. Then you go, okay. And especially because it's been so many years since we voted on it. And there's been so much drama and controversy surrounding it, yet that first medicinal marijuana joint has never been smoked that we know of. There aren't a whole lot of people that have picked up applications to be able to avail themselves of it, because it's like the Chamorro only vote. It hasn't happened yet. So that's where I am on that issue. So I tend to avoid it as a topic, and only when something interesting pops up. And the interesting thing, and she had telegraphed this a few days ago, some time ago, is Senator Luis Muñoz, who I've worked with and sang with, has introduced a bill that would allow for limited home cultivation of medicinal marijuana. And so the way it would work is you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, your condition would be much improved if you could smoke or ingest some way medicinal marijuana, or just regular marijuana. We'll just call it regular marijuana, because at this point, it's still in the realm of a doctor suggesting that this might be good for you, help you out, put some color in your cheeks. And so this is the interesting kind of workaround. And frankly, it's one of those things, Luis, you score a home run on this one, it might actually get you in a position to get yourself reelected in the 35th Guam legislature. Be a small handful of people that get to come back next time. Upon written certification to issue a permit to a patient or patient's caregiver, allowing him or her to cultivate cannabis if there is no operational dispensary for cannabis. And right now, no operational dispensaries for cannabis.
Correct.
Right. So you can grow your own, basically. No more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants at any given time. And that's what's on the permit. I don't know if they're going to have any teeth behind this, where people will actually go to your place and start counting flowering plants. And these juvenile plants must be grown at their home or the home of a qualified caregiver or another site either owned or controlled by the patient or caregiver. The cannabis may be grown indoors, but it must not be visible from any public location. It might be grown in an outdoor area, but secure behind a lock gate that is also not visible from a public area. Know why?
Oh, somebody will steal that stuff,
We don't want
man.
kids going back there and swiping grandma's dope. That's why. Muñoz says her measure would... Yay, my neighbor's got a medicinal marijuana permit. Party
That's what
on.
That's what you'd have done back in the day.
Yep. Muñoz says her measure would allow patients to grow cannabis and have the access they need while waiting for Guam's medical cannabis program to take effect.
Will not happen.
Will not happen. And you and I are the same on this one. Will not happen. The big government approach that they wanted to put together, the heavily licensed, taxed, whatever system that they want to put together, will never happen. And so, but this is what I think can happen with this. This is what I think can happen with this. notwithstanding the fact that the enabling legislation that everybody voted on, and quite a lot of people voted in favor of, only perceived medicinal uses for marijuana.
Right.
But the legislature doesn't necessarily have to abide by that. That the legislature, they can pass a companion piece of legislation similar to this with a simple amendment. And that is just strike everything that talks about somebody from the Department of Public Health or doctor or permits, and just say, you are now free to grow marijuana in your house for whatever the purposes are. Recreational? You want to make it recreational? It seems to me that this would be very malleable, as it were.
You know, if they can do it in Colorado, where, by the way, they actually get representation in the federal government.
Yeah.
Then we, who get no respect at all, should be able to do just whatever the heck we want to out here.
They're working on that now. I know that Lou League, Leon Guerrero, and Josh had sent a note to Washington, D.C., over to, what's her name? That's, you know who I'm talking about, the lady. Congresswoman Madeline Zibardallo.
Yeah.
Forget the name. I just remember the hair. She knows I joke about her hair. It's okay. Anyway. Where was I? They sent a letter to her because there's a measure moving through Congress now that would basically strip the enforcement power of the Department of Justice from coming out and enforcing any laws about marijuana as a Tier 1 offense. Okay. Right? And they're going to take that out and say if it's okay at the state level, then it's okay with us.
Yeah.
And so what they wanted to make sure is that we are, because Guam is not a state, that we're not bifurcated from the conversation, that we're not eliminated from the conversation. So maybe add the word "and territory," or in the definition of a state, include the territories.
Yeah, well, we fought a whole war over the states' rights issue. So this is, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Well, but it happens a lot. I mean, there's still an incredible amount of power in the federal government, and in a very, very small place inside the Beltway in Washington, D.C., among a relatively small group of people that can write rules and regulations that have far and wide effects over virtually all of the United States and the territories and protectorates like us. And so I'm with you. I'm one of those guys. Small government is best, and distributed power among the people is best. I would rather, notwithstanding any issues that we're currently having with Guam Memorial Hospital, the Chamorro Land Trust, or whatever, I would rather have the power of the purse, the power of control over me, my actions, my movements, determined by people around here.
See, and that's the thing. That's the whole idea behind states' rights, is to allow the people to have control over certain aspects, certain vital aspects of their lives that they can actually relate to together that people in Washington would have no idea about.
No concept. I'll give you an example. In the United Snakes of America, they don't like cockfighting.
No.
On Guam, we're okay.
It's a national sport here.
With cockfighting, this is fine. Not a problem. So you guys with the animal rights in the states that have never been to a cockfight on Guam, don't understand the lure, don't understand the fun of it, butt out. Get out. Nobody asked for your involvement here, so just leave us the blank alone and go and protest and be huffy and puffy somewhere else.
They're just people eating tasty animals anyway.
So here's one of the things I've got for you is I have a contest that we're going to do. See, now, you didn't have to remind me. I'm a good boy. So for the first time in the history of doing this contest, Mike hasn't had to remind me to do a Ray Gibson news quiz contest.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Oh, this is, and it's a great prize today. Right? It's a great prize today. I have a $100 gift certificate to the Caravel Restaurant and Grill.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
At the Onward Beach Resort. I love the Onward Beach Resort. I have loved it for a long time, and so Denny will take this, and we can exchange this now for a meal for you and maybe just you if you eat a lot, but you and the guest at the Caravel Restaurant and Grill. And I think I've gotten them for some of the other F&B outlets that they have there. I think I might have it for the Japanese place as well.
Yeah, I live right next door.
Oh my God, which I also love.
Yeah.
You ever go up there and they've got this Japanese buffet on like Sunday mornings, and they hook you up with beer.
I'll be there Sunday.
Yeah. And so I tend not to eat a lot because I don't want it to blunt the beer.
It's right next door to me, man. It's not even a long walk.
Pow! Right there. So Caravel Restaurant, $100 gift certificate. And then this is your ticket. Once you have this in your hand, friends, I hold it like this, like the magicians do. Once you have this in your hand, what we can do is we can make it so that you are eligible for our grand prize drawing. That's right. An extremely valuable, I'm almost positive now, is the reverse osmosis water purification and dispensing system from American Water Tech.
You know, it's actually built by Vulcans.
It is. Yeah. It is. Aliens are real. So here's the way it works. You hook up water to it, and it goes through this reverse osmosis, and I think it's got ultraviolet light filtering in it. Yep. I mean, this thing takes out everything from your water. And then it's not like it's just got the tap, right? So it's got the tap, and it sends the water out cold or room temperature, although I haven't seen anybody get it at room temperature, or hot enough to make ramen.
Nice.
Right?
Yes.
This thing is a very, very cool deal. You want this. Trust me, you want this. You can rent them if you like. You can buy them outright if you like, but we're giving one away for absolutely free. How will we do it? I'll ask you a question probably in about another 10 minutes or so. I'll ask you a question that is related to one of our big news stories today. So I know that you've been paying attention. I know that some of you are actually writing down every word I say in an ongoing transcript of the stream of consciousness that is the Ray Gibson Show. Don't worry, you don't need to write that down. But it will be based on one of the stories that we have talked about this morning, and so all you got to do is come in, and I'll make it easy for you because I get it. You know, sometimes it's hard to play these contests; you just get so frazzled. But I'll make it as easy as possible for you so that you can win this great daily prize and set yourself up for the water purification and dispensing system from American Water Tech. I will do that for you because we are on our way in just a couple of days to the 100th episode of the Ray Gibson Show.
That's right.
We've been doing this since February the 1st, 2nd, something like that.
February 1st.
Right, and I've so much fun since then. We've added so much to the show. Now it's not just a talk radio program. Right. This program here is all about interaction. So you can call in if you want. Many people do, or you can chime in with your thoughts at Facebook Live or the Ray Gibson Show at gmail.com. Not the Ray Gibson Show, just Ray Gibson Show at gmail.com. If you want to send me a piece of email or leak. Or a leak. A leak would be fine. I'm totally all right with leaks. But do me a favor. If you are going to leak me something, go ahead and use your real name. Could you? Use your real name. I'll tell you why. And you're just going to have to trust me. In all of these years that I've been on the radio, I've never lied to you. That I know of.
That was a real long pause, bro.
Still going.
Yeah.
That I know of. Yeah. But anyway, certainly not on purpose. So if you send me something, then I promise you that I will, to the best of my and my lawyer's legal abilities, protect your identity. The problem is if you send me something anonymous, then I can't... I can't say it, then I won't know who it's from. If you send it to me, I say, I won't say your name on the radio, but because it's coming from you, then I know I can trust it.
Yeah, the fact is you can't stand behind it if you don't know who's the source.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So if you're going to send me a leak, it's RayGibsonShow at gmail.com on the World Wide Web. I'd be very happy to take those leaks and share them with my buddy over at the Guam Daily Post, and he will conduct some kind of an investigation on some of the things that you were talking about. My friend Anna Kaiser, so good to see you. A long time, baby, is on the Facebook Live. I see June Bells is there, Rennie Lau, Chris Bacino. There's my favorite pub. Hey, listen, if you're call Chris if you were running for political office and you need signs and door hangers and all of this other stuff. Go find Chris. He's got a great printing press over at the place, and they're doing some really, really amazing things. You know how we're doing amazing things with Facebook Live and digital technology? He's doing the same thing with digital printing technology and state-of-the-art presses over at his place. Michael Infialco, hey, Senator, nice to see you there. I see Nick is on. Terry DeBold, Monica Pito from over at Coast 360. I see Marlene is there, and Carl and Bob and Brad and Sonia and Jody and Ed.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
The very beautiful Donna Blas Cartwright is there. I see Tom Watson and Clint James, and the very beautiful Debbie Ratuyan is on as well. So many people from off island. I see Natalie Canata, who's here in this town, that is saying hello. Renee and Pat Taitegui, Elisa Telleu, and Frankie Gutierrez, John Larimer, great singer, and Joe Cruz. I get this guy, Joe Cruz, checks in all the time.
I wonder how much different Guam would be if all of these kind people who are not here anymore, but, you know, watching our program, were actually still here. You know it would upgrade. I mean, come on.
A little bit more crowded.
Yeah.
A little bit more crowded.
Okay.
I'm not good with crowds. Yeah. No, it's true. I'm shy. I'm a shy guy.
Yeah, I can tell.
I get this. You know, if I walk into a room that I wasn't anticipating to be as crowded as it was.
Right.
You know, there's a part of me that almost mentally shuts down for a second, and all I can think of is get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And regroup, and then come out as Ray Gibson.
I look for a cat because the cat's the only person I can talk to when I get into a room like that.
That's kind of the way I work that out, because there are times that will scare me. Thanks, Ray, for mentioning the camp out on the morning show. Really appreciate it. That's my friend Yoich Rengil, and he and his team are going to be having a big camp out this weekend. If you're a member of TRIO in the school, then this is the guy that you're going to be spending some time with. And if you're really, really nice, he'll bring you some mangoes from his front yard that are bigger than Michael Knight's head. It's amazing. 924. I was talking about contests, wasn't I?
Yes. I'm just looking at my head now.
Have you ever bingoed?
I did, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, not just family bingo either. I mean, I once did actually go into a bingo place.
Did you win?
No. I could barely keep up.
That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That is.
You watch. I have found a lot of respect watching the older ladies because they're pros. And man, and they got their daubers out there, man, and they are slamming daubers, man, and they may have like 8 cards.
And don't you yell bingo if you don't have it either.
Man,
they'll smack you.
They will beat you up.
Yes, like you were their kid.
You feel a palm upside the back of your head.
Yelling bingo if you don't have it is the equivalent of saying bomb in an airport.
That's right.
There's gonna be trouble, and they might escort you out. How do I know this? Because I've done bingo before. I have 2 different bingo things in my life, and one of them stemmed from a television show that I used to host with a pretty girl named Valerie Villacruz. She's since been married, but a pretty girl on the show, and her job was simply to pick balls out of the machine and read the number.
Nice.
That was it. My job was to make it interesting to watch. Even though she was pretty, and most of the time the camera was on her and her blousy dress, but I was there, you know, and I'd do cut-ups and make bits and jokes and all of that kind of thing. And we would do 4 bingo games a night, and they would all culminate with the blackout round.
Oh wow, yeah.
And we, you know, at the time it wasn't sophisticated technology. We just, you know, you could go to Payless or something and get your bingo forms with the numbers on them, and then if you thought you had bingo, you called up the TV station, and we would very quickly verify whether your card was a potential winner or not. Okay, so now it's computerized. The system I did last time is totally computerized. So all you got to do is tell me the number of your card, and I will let you know whether it is a potential winner or not. And I can do that in 20 seconds, right? But in order to train for the TV show, I actually had to go to a bingo parlor. And the first thing that I found out when I went to this particular bingo parlor was 92, was there's no smoking. And at the time, I was about a 2-pack a day man because they didn't have cancer then.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I remember those days.
Yeah, and so I went in there and I said, okay, this isn't going to last long. And then I found out that there was no beer.
Oh, no, that's it.
I said, what's the point? Why do these people come here? They come and they pay money, and they go and they sit, and there's a guy over there, and he's calling numbers, and he's not telling any jokes. They won't let you smoke. They won't let you drink beer. Why do people stay?
Yeah.
And then I found out what the purses were. Holy wow. What are we talking about? Oh, 69, you better believe it. Holiday, check this out. There's this will sound like a plug, and it's not meant to be. It's just something I observed this morning. Holiday Bingo, which is in the Holiday Resort and Spa, mezzanine level at the Poly San Vitores. Which one is Holiday Resort? That's the one with California Pizza Kitchen in it, right?
Yeah, that's the old one, right?
That's Joe. Where's Joe?
Oh, Joe left.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave him a break, man. I was really.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. So if you can find parking there, then you go to the mezz level, and for it doesn't say what you got to pay to get into the running for this. The holiday blackout round is worth $100,000.
What?
That's what I said.
Wow.
It's $100,000.
Do you have to pay taxes on it?
No, they don't collect tax. You're supposed to, but they never have anybody there. It's not, nobody keeps any receipts. So my guess is unless somebody told, then you'd probably get to keep your hands on $100,000.
Wow.
And this might be one where you go in and you kind of go all in. Give me $1,000 worth of cards, and we'll just play on these, because if you just need to strike on one, right?
That's right.
And you got to strike on one faster than the old lady at the other table is striking. But I don't know. Sometimes they put criteria on this, like it's got to be blackout in like 50 calls, like 50 balls.
Right. Yeah.
And after that, then
especially with big money like that.
For $100,000, they've got a holiday line bingo for $10,000.
That's still good coin,
right? Right. I'd still put $1,000 down on my seed capital, on my lucky money. That to me is amazing. $100,000 in this Guam, and there's a $10,000 one. Now that might not be your cup of tea when it comes to gaming. I saw this as well, and there's probably a lot more people these days as a result of the increase in the business privilege tax and the price of gasoline going up, and frankly the price of everything going up. That are looking around for opportunities to put a little bit more feather in their nest, if you know what I mean. Mega Bingo, which is the only approved, everybody loves Guam kind of lottery that we've got here.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Mega Bingo, Mega Bingo, not a bingo parlor. It's the lottery. Today's jackpot is $1.2 million.
Huh?
Hey, that ain't bad for around here, guy.
That is not bad at all. Now, what all principalities are participating in this?
It's us and somebody else. I want to say us and maybe somebody in like Australia or New Zealand. It's been a long time since I've even thought about this. Thursday's Oceania jackpot, $1.5 million.
Wow.
That would solve a couple of problems for me.
You can buy a few mangoes with that.
Right? Yeah. I'll buy some more Zara clothes or something. 576 Guam winners last week, including 4 that won third prizes. So if you got the hankering to try, all you need to do is go to Payless Markets, Agate Kimchi, Island Fresh in Salampago, Daily Mart in Harmon, Day by Day in Petey, Supermart Mangilaw 511 store in Dededo, and Day by Day, the Zotnia location. And they will sell you whatever it is that you've got to do to line yourself up for either the Tuesday jackpot, $1.2 million, or the big Oceania jackpot for $1.5. I've never played this.
I've done lotteries in the past in other places, but not here. But I can't tell you, they will happily sell you one of those tickets because they get a cut if you win.
Oh,
I haven't read the rules of this particular contest.
But most of the time, like the big stateside ones?
That's it, because that's how they lure in these people to actually sell the tickets for them.
Oh, so they make a big deal about buying your
right.
tickets here. Okay, all right, I got you. Anyway, so look at this. 9:31, the Ray Gibson Show continues, 888-8255. Keep that number handy because by the time this break concludes, I will give you a chance. Hey, Dennis Rodriguez's daughter's on the line. Pretty Ashley, nice to see you. Tell your old man to call before the end of the show at 10. Appreciate it. 9:30 in the morning is what? At least I wasn't flirting.
True.
I just called her pretty. I mean, she is. She's very pretty in the face.
She was nice. Very polite as well.
Like the mom.
Yeah.
Just saying. So you got to do the time check now. iConnect time in the studios of The Point. It's 9:32. iConnect wants you to connect longer for less with their incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans.
The employees of Morrico Equipment on Guam have something very special all to themselves every morning they go to work, and that is pride. They have pride in the Morrico Equipment logo, and they have pride in wearing the Morrico Equipment uniform. They have pride in driving each Morrico Equipment service truck, and in operating the Morrico Equipment lowboy heavy haul tractor. Morrico Equipment employees have pride in their company because they own the company. Morrico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. If you would like to join the Morrico Equipment ESOP team, please apply via morricoequipment.com.
You gonna make me talk again? How am I supposed to come up with the question if you keep interrupting me to talk?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Avocado is in at Wendy's. Try the new Southwest Avocado Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Anybody can make a spicy chicken sandwich. But the people over at Wendy's, they elevate this. It's extra. It's a crispy, spicy chicken, breaded, kicked up with pepper jack cheese. Then they cool it down with Southwest Ranch. And then they put Applewood bacon on it because this is Wendy's. And then they cool it off again with this creamy avocado. Also available, the Southwest Avocado Chicken Salad, available for a limited time. So stop by the nearest Wendy's and try it today. Wendy's, and that's better.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Deborah Wise got the radio on in Elk Grove, California, visiting kids and grandkids. You got to get back here soon. This place is falling apart without you, I swear to God. You know, hospital used to be fine, functioning, save lives, deliver babies, and now look at them. So you need to get back here and help Dennis Rodriguez fix that. All right, 9:34, and this is the part of the program. I've been telegraphing that it was coming. I want you to win this. I want you to win this. So I'm going to give you a question, and you're going to hate me because you remember in school, like in math, they'd give you word questions. And
Man.
Right?
Yeah, if you're going to do math, let's do math. Math has numbers.
Yes. Well, the word questions have numbers. So I'm
words.
It'll be easy. It'll be easy. Okay. So a train leaves Gigo headed southward at 20 miles an hour.
We have trains here.
on the same track, a train is leaving Malesso, and it's going 60 miles an hour.
I'm stuck on the fact that we have no trains here.
What's the name of the conductor?
Fred.
What color is the anyway? No, it'll be easier than that. It is, and this will be based on Senator Luis Muñoz's bill to propose a quick draw and a little bit more expediency in the medicinal marijuana program that's never going to happen. And this one, I'm with her on this. I think this might actually happen. Mm-hmm. I think there's a strong possibility this might be a go show finally. And where's the music? Where's the Tilink music? No, the other one. The sad story one. Yeah, that one. That was the one I need. So this might be the catalyst. This might be the one that leads people who are in need of the relief that only marijuana can provide to be able to have access to that marijuana. And their kids will have access to it, too, and the neighbor kids will have access to it. We'll just all be stoned in the neighborhood, right? What you got? Glaucoma. How'd you get it? I keep poking my eyes until the doctor says I got glaucoma. Shut up, Ray. I'm sick. All right. So for a $100 gift certificate to the Caravel dinner at the Onward Beach Resort. Hey, did we get golf passes on this? Onward's got a golf course, too. Beautiful one. Here's the question, and it's a word problem. The permit that you would receive as a medical marijuana recipient would allow you to have no more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants. In total, how many plants could you have? Is it hard?
I'll get back to you.
Wait, get the calculator out. Wait, I need the calculator. The permit will allow the patient, that's you, to have no more than 3 flowering plants and 6 juvenile plants. For a total of how many marijuana plants could you have in your house?
9.
9. Judges say? Correct! Yay! Dude, I got $100 worth of food for you from the Onward, man. This is a great prize. Who's this?
I'm ready to eat.
What? Wait, what did you say? Are you stoned already?
Not yet.
Say it again, but slow. Who's this?
This is Chuck.
Hey.
2 days in a row.
Well, no, that's all right. That's all right. You can win 2 days in a row, but no more after this, okay?
All right.
Because I like to spread my love around. I like to spread my love far and wide. I'm waiting for somebody to say, what a ridiculously stupid thing to say on the radio. That was right up there. Okay. So, Chuck, hold on a second. I'm going to give you your telephone connection goes back to that guy, Michael Knight, in the other studio, and he will say things to you that you've already heard as a winner, but you will hear again. So I've got your name on the envelope. We got more of these to give away. In fact, I got more of these to give away, not just today or tomorrow, but on the actual 100th episode. So we've got more prizes and stuff that I'll be giving away on that morning because I'm lazy and I don't want to talk about issues all morning long. So we'll stick in a couple of contests and make you a winner that way. 888-8255 is the phone number. Yeah? What?
Yeah, I lost Chuck. So Chuck,
that's probably him on
just
line
come
one.
to the same place I told you yesterday.
Yeah.
And pick up your stuff.
Yeah, your name's already on envelope. We're good to go. But check on who's that. It might be one of those vital callbacks that we're waiting on. I started the program this morning with I don't want to say it's a rant. I don't want to call it a rant. I'm disappointed, and I hope you hear the disappointment in my voice. Have you ever? I don't know. It's a personal question, right? And maybe a little bit too inside baseball with me. But have you ever been in a relationship where you've tried to have children, and for whatever reason you couldn't, or it was difficult? You were challenged, and then you see people with kids that they treat like crap. And you go, that's just, that's the unfairness of the world where you're struggling. You want to bring life into the world. You want to bring a kid. You want to have a family and spoil the hell out of them. And then you look over at another family and they treat their kids like animals. And you go, wow, how is that? What's going on here? That just feels so wrong. It's like when you're looking for a house or you can't afford a house. You can't afford something in your income level. You're driving around and you see people and they've got nice property and beautiful locations and the house looked like the Beverly Hillbillies live in it before they moved to Beverly. And you go, wow, there's again that unfairness in the world. I've got money, but I don't have enough for a down payment, or I don't have enough, for the bank to give me the rest of it. But look at these people, and they've got a house, and they've got 5 or 6 junk cars in it, and there's all this crap in a driveway, and you go, that's just not fair. So my point is I'm beginning to see more and more families that are on the roadside begging. It used to be just a guy, and then it was a girl. You remember the girl with the cute stockings, and she'd always wear hot pants in front of the ITC building. This is the crap that stays in my head. Don't ask why. But now it's people and their kids that are out there on the road, and sometimes the kids are in the road with the parents, even though they're not supposed to be. And I keep looking at this. There's a bunch of people over at McDonald's. I see people over at the intersection of 16 and 1, at the intersection of 4 and 7, O'Brien Drive in Agana. And, there's taimamalo, no shame, right? And so I think they're using the kids in order to make you feel even worse for them and whatever it is that they're going through. And the really annoying thing is that's not necessary. In my mind, we've got so many government programs around here, housing programs and food programs. There's no reason why anybody should be going to sleep hungry on Guam. Certainly not kids. And these kids now, can you imagine what they're going to be thinking, what the thought process is in their head growing up? Is I don't need to pull myself up from with the bootstraps. I'll just beg. My parents begged. Their parents begged before that. And I think it's a certain kind of child abuse, and I don't know why there isn't more conversation about that. I don't understand why we're not hearing from mayors or the policemen's or the public health or child protective services. Why are they not going out there and saying, you can beg, you're the mom. You can beg, you're the dad, but you cannot subject children to the conditions of being outside and in the sun, in the rain, especially for the express purpose of making people feel guilty about what they've worked for, about what they've earned and achieved, to the point where they need to hand a $1 bill or a $5 bill or a $10 bill out the car window in order to erase their guilt that you've artificially put on them.
Yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book. You know, the best guy I like to give my money to is a dude that stands on the corner. Had one in Hawaii. He says, money for beer.
Yeah, I got a guy.
At least he was being honest.
Yep, I'm not going to buy food. I've got a job. I just need some extra money for dope. There was a guy in San Diego doing the same thing. Ken LG's on. Good morning, Ken.
Yeah, once upon a time when I was running Able, I hired a prolific beggar, and he quit. And when I was doing the exit interview to him, he said, "This is too much work." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I'm only making, because he was early in the program, he was only working 4 hours a day." He says, "I'm only making about $30 a day. I make over $100 a day on the corner over there by the ITC building. This is too much work." And I was just floored. He was quitting a job that provided benefits as well to go back to begging on the corner by the ITC building, because he makes between $80 and $100 a day in 4 hours of making, and he only makes $30 a day working.
And we seem to be incapable of literally cleaning up the streets. I remember having conversations with village mayors, and they say, "Well, yeah, we'll go out there and yell at them and tell them to get off the side of the road, and you can't do that here. And as soon as we leave, they come back." And the police can move them on, but as soon as the police leave, they come back.
Yeah. When I was working in the Bay Area, I was commuting from Reno, so at Lodi was my fuel stop. And every time I'd pull off I-5, there was a guy that's standing there at the fuel stop with a sign, "Broke, stranded, money for gas, please," And after about 3 months, I confronted him. I said, "You've been here for 3 months. I would have thought by now you've gotten enough money to get some gas."
Yep.
And he got upset with me, walked across the street, walked into a 40-foot Winnebago, and slammed the door. And a couple of months later, we're going down to Monterey, and I point this out to my wife, and they're sitting there. You can see through the windows of the Winnebago. They're sitting there having lunch. There's this $80,000-$90,000 Winnebago sitting there in this empty lot across the street from a truck stop on I-5. That was his job.
Well, Mike was saying about hanging out with somebody on Facebook, did some surveillance on him and sat upstairs at the McDonald's in Harmon and actually clocked these guys, and they'd go and beg, and then somebody'd run back to a very nice modern today upscale car, sit in the air conditioning for a few minutes, and then go back out.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it, because in Sacramento, a news team there followed a prolific beggar at Walmart. He was legless below the knees, 2 American flags on his wheelchair, a Vietnam vet on his, and he would work there, and they figured out he's getting between $150 and $200 a day working in the parking lot. They followed him to a late model van that was lift equipped, and they followed him to a house. They got the property. They looked it up and found out his name, found out he was a medically retired Army captain, and at that time he was pulling them down about $65,000 a year. He owned 4 houses and 2 apartment buildings.
It's not always as it looks.
Yeah, after that story broke, he disappeared from the Walmart parking lot there on Dixon, and he reappeared in another parking lot in Elder. No.
But the point is, he showed up somewhere else. I mean, bad penny keeps turning up, right?
Yeah. I mean, the money's too good.
And there's a couple of comments on the Facebook Live I wanted to share. One of them is from Kendra. Says, well, if we're talking about Able Industries, Kendra says he probably just wanted to get paid, Ken.
Well, Kendra is a troll. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I challenge Kendra to do this. Go to the district court, pull the records, and read all 1,000 pages so you know what you're talking about.
Dave,
people have been paid.
Dave Duenas says, I just pointed out because it's funny to me. Sorry. Dave Duenas, like designated smoking areas, how about designated begging areas?
They had that in Reno.
Do they?
Yeah, when I lived in Reno, they had that because a lot of people would come up, get wiped out, and you'd see them all standing there along the strip. So what the police did, they came in and they said, they basically cleared them all out and moved them over to a place in Sparks. Well, the traffic is, 1/10 the traffic down the main, down South Virginia. And a funny thing happened. Once they moved them out to Sparks, they all disappeared. There was no money in Sparks.
So we're not going to beg anymore. Nick says, San Diego, you're right. News stations there did several stories on him, including a guy who popped out a cell phone, drove off in a Mercedes-Benz. So, things might not be always what they seem. And I don't care. You want to perpetrate that kind of scam on people, fine. You know what? And if we're dumb enough to put money in your hand, in your pocket, or whatever it is that you're begging from, then we're all stupid for it, right? Number one. But don't bring the kids. I want to go back to this because I don't want to lose the conversation about the kids are out there on the streets with these people, and they don't deserve that for their childhood.
Absolutely not. It goes back to, I think there's a workshop on this, because if you look, all the signs are identical. They say, they'll either say one of two things: homeless, anything will help, God bless. Mm-hmm. Or it will say medical, anything will help, God bless. And it was the same thing in the mainland. I noticed they all had the same sign. It was all cardboard with all Sharpie, all block letters, all capitals. And then they started appearing with dogs on leashes, and then soon at every intersection there'd be somebody with a dog on a leash, and then they started having kids.
Well, then, A, it's animal abuse, and B, I think it's child abuse, and I think Nick's going shift change. I'm with you. Social workers and CPS need to help the children on the streets. Huh? Come fund me, says Daryl Taggarty.
Well, that was my 2 cents on that, because here we had a girl who used to be out on the island out in front of Denny's for over a year, and I finally asked her one day when I was sitting there, I said, haven't you gotten enough money for that air travel ticket for your mom yet? And she says, oh, she has to go back.
There's always a story. There's always a story. Ken, I'll talk to you pretty soon. I'll see what we can find out. We've been trying to find somebody over at CPS all morning, and apparently they're afraid to talk to me. Is that what it is? I get that feeling. See, what does he want to know? He's going to want to know why nobody's going out and helping these kids. Because they apparently need it. They've got parents that are idiotic that want them out in the sunshine and in the sun and on the streets, like it's safe there. Like that's a good place for the kids. And if for no other reason to make me not messy, to make me feel
whatever
like I said,
happened
guilty.
to the days of standing on the corner with a squeegee and a bucket and at least washing a window for $1?
Well, that was because there was a guy over there that would spit at the window, so the guy at the corner could clean it up for you. There was a whole nother level of scam. No. If you want to know about a great scam. And this actually happened to me, and I was proud that it happened to me because I like to think that I am invincible to that.
Sure.
Like you can't touch me. There's no way you're gonna bamboozle me, right? So I'm in Shanghai, city of the future.
Oh wow!
I love Shanghai. Oh my God, what an incredible place! But like every major city in a place with cultures that go back 5,000 or 6,000 years, they're pretty good at it. And so there was a guy. And he was selling these they're little light up rollerblades that attach to your shoes, big or small, and it was nice. And he was selling them, I don't know, $5.
Yeah, well, everything's $5.
And so I gave him, I gave him a larger bill. It was like a $10. We'll just pretend it was whatever the Chinese money is. So I gave him the $10 version of it.
Right, that's a yuan.
Right, and the change. He gave me back the change, and it's dark, mind you.
Yeah.
He gave me back the change in the same denominations, like ones. He gave me the change back. They looked like ones from China, but they were actually ones from Russia. which were virtually valueless.
Worthless.
Virtually worthless. And it looks like it looks like a dollar bill, but it's actually worth a penny. And so sure enough, my guy comes to me, says, "Did you buy anything from that guy?" And I said, "Yeah, I bought these skates for the kids." He says, "Check your money." And sure enough, I open it up, and the Shanghai money and the Russian money at nighttime in the dark, identical. But and then you start reading the lettering, and you realize that's not Chinese, that's acrylic. And fortunately, it wasn't a lot of money. I mean, I lost a few bucks, but I learned in spades. I learned a new scam, and I'm dying to try to figure out how to do it here. Crap, I said that when the microphone was on again. It's 9:53 in the morning. Let's take a quick break.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth. That's kind of his job. But we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
Those of you watching on the Facebook Live, the answer is no, I can't keep still. It's impossible. It's impossible. I've made, that's why I can't do, like, television news. There's no way I could stay still for that long. Just impossible. Nick Prolosky says, remember a few years ago, parents were arrested because they were keeping their 2 girls out of school in order for them to beg for their parents. I vaguely remember that. Cody says, saw a guy in front of Shirley's in Hagåtña drive up in a 2000s Jetta, park, get out, pull a wheelchair and a cardboard sign from the back seat, push it to the corner and sit down. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's a nice young man. He really is. He even plays music up at the Ocopeles on his keyboard. That. Yeah. So, and he worked there for them for a little while, but I don't know what the story is behind it.
Is that the same guy?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could be wrong.
We'll see. So Department of Corrections goes before the legislature in 10 minutes for their budget hearing. They will be followed at 2 o'clock by Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center and find out what they're going to need for the 2019 budget. Don't hold your breath. You guys never get a lot anyway. Then there's this story here, which is the worst segue in the history of talk radio. Out of Kailua Kona, you might know the place in Hawaii. Hawaiian Airlines and Japan Airlines have submitted paperwork seeking to join forces to potentially bring hundreds of thousands of more people to Hawaii. Now, I'm going to read this again, but I'm going to change it just a little bit. Hawaiian Airlines and Japan Airlines have submitted paperwork seeking to join forces to potentially prevent hundreds of thousands of people visiting Guam.
Ooh.
Yeah, buddy.
Doesn't sound
hey,
as nice.
Our people need to get in front of this. West Hawaii Today reports that the airlines have recently filed an application with the DOT and the Japanese government requesting immunity from antitrust laws to create a joint venture. According to the filings, the partnership would allow the companies to coordinate flight schedules, share certain costs and revenues, as well as work together on marketing and advertising. The airlines say the venture could bring up to an additional 350,000 passengers to Hawaii, as well as generate about 4,000 American jobs. We need to be a part of this. Somebody needs to insinuate Guam in the middle of this conversation.
We'd be a great connecting flight.
Wow. And I know what you're thinking. You're going, wait a second, Ray, that's nowhere. They're not going to be able to bring those kind of people in those kinds of numbers to Hawaii. Japanese departures are declining, aren't they? No, arrivals into Guam are declining. That's the problem. They're still traveling, and they're still traveling in decent numbers. Otherwise, JAL and Hawaiian Airlines wouldn't be pursuing this. I think the problem is that Guam has become a lousy destination. And you're going to go, oh, no, it's not. Come on, beautiful sandy beaches. Okay. You want to go see the beautiful sand? Go anytime to any of the spots along Marine Drive. There's almost always a bag of trash there because nobody's parked any trash cans there. Go walk around the Paseo. Go up to, yesterday I picked up trash again. In front of the statue. Incidentally, this is the original. The one in New York is a copy of the Statue of Liberty. Right. And had nowhere to put it, so I ganged it up with other trash. But at least it wasn't in front of the Statue of Liberty where the tourists were coming in. And I tell you what, this place is getting jacked up with trash and graffiti, and that's why the Japanese aren't coming here anymore. So we've got to up our game. Otherwise, this deal with JAL and Hawaiian Airlines, that's it. That's the beginning of the downward spiral. 10 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG. I got you. Look it up. It's online. And I'll be back with you tomorrow. More chances to win incredible prizes tomorrow. But right now, Fox News Live.
Streaming now on TuneIn, Next Station, and Streama.
Priscilla Sarah, Fox News. High-ranking FBI agent Peter Strzok will likely be compelled to show up before the House Judiciary Committee. Fox News has learned they intend to issue a subpoena. Strzok's anti-Trump texts to his mistress, Lisa Page, were uncovered in the Inspector General's report of the Clinton email investigation last week.
It's important that we have him appear and explain these text messages as well as his actions.